Okay then, that should be going live. And screen number 2 should be up momentarily. As long as it doesn't... What are we doing here? There we go. Perfect. I think. Yeah, that works. Hello Jasdeep and Isaac. Nice to have you around. Just give it a couple of minutes and then we'll get going. Get going properly. After all, the start of a new campaign. So there's no need for too much of a preamble of what we did last time, because from part 1 we didn't do anything last time, technically speaking. Finished off the Aradonayim campaign. Sub 200 turns, that campaign as well, which is perhaps slightly shorter than normal. Hey there, Sonation. But I felt as though there wouldn't really have been a narrative point that would have been as satisfying as conquering Barad-dûr. So I'm not too concerned about having left it there, to be honest with you, because the rest of it would have just been clean up and it wouldn't really have been that satisfying. But regardless, the start of a new campaign. And we haven't... Well, basically I picked the 2 factions that would be fighting over the Ered Mithrin mountain range because it's a part of the world we hadn't been in. And it had 2 of the culture groups that are in the game that we hadn't done yet. So of course the poll was between Erebor and Gundabad, and by a decent margin the winner was the Dwarves of Erebor. Naturally, as you can see from the thumbnail. Hello John Shepherd and Serpent King. Nice to have you here. So unsurprisingly, Erebor are an infantry-focused faction, and, I mean, to be fair, so are the Aradonayim, so from that point of view I suppose it's not a drastic departure from what we were doing before. We're still going to be very much about getting that aggressive infantry line into the enemy as quickly as possible, and then grinding them down in melee. Difference being the Aradonayim, especially with the conscription system, had easier ways around their shortcomings, whereas Erebor, certainly at range, they have fewer options. So we're going to be even more about the infantry. And we do have much more shock infantry than the Aradonayim had as well, especially the armour-piercing stakes. The best we had as them was the Abrazanim Narduzagar, which were a fine shock infantry unit in their own right, especially against Mordor. But Erebor, we've got some slightly better shock infantry units. I think we've got 3 options for tier 3 shock infantry units, which is quite a lot indeed. We'll go through... yeah, we'll just go through... We'll do very hard. Why not? Show CPU. No battle time limit. That can be a bit of a pain because the AI can really screw you around. So just to be sure, I'm going to leave that off, to be honest, because we could abuse that to our advantage as well. But to win using the time limit is kind of cheesy anyway. So I think it's best to just leave it off, to be honest with you. Campaign rules long. Hold 30 regions, which is nowhere near as much as the requirement for the Aradonayim. We won't really be paying too much attention to this though. Mainly because some of the requirements, I believe, involve like holding on to somewhere like KHAZAD, and obviously there's no point in that if the Dwarves of KHAZAD are alive at the end of the campaign, because it would mean going to war with our brethren, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, we'll jump right on in as the Dwarves of Erebor. Be interested to see how the Dwarves work. I suppose in terms of recruitment, they'll probably bear more in common, especially early on, with the elves, in that we're going to have smaller but significantly stronger individually, unit by unit, than the armies that we're fighting. May not have that problem quite as much as Lothlorien, but you definitely think that the dwarves would be more on that side of things than the other way. Hey there, Matt. BARUK KHAZAD indeed. But I did have a little look at the sort of starting position you find yourself in as Erebor. Certainly the Aradonayim are a very unique start, so it's kind of a little bit different, but this is a little bit more akin to Lorien in that regard as well, where we start with 2 regions. Difference being we do start with 4 generals, I believe, instead of just the 2 that you have as Lorien. And you have a little bit more in terms of an army as well, but not that much more. Right. Anyway, we don't need to do the preamble for Divide and Conquer overall, but we can do the preamble for this. So the Dwarves of Erebor and the Iron Hills. The kingdom under the mountain, Erebor. This is our realm, the power of the dwarves in the easternmost edge of the western sphere, where long beards and broad beams delve into the lambent and virtually inexhaustible veins of precious metals that provide the power and wealth of our king, Dane II. This is the power of the Iron Hills of old, the dwarf realm at the borders of those we regard as foes in the eastern man realms, farthest from the blue mountains where our people fade. It was he that marched 500 of our warriors to contest the claim of the elves of the woodland realm and the lake men's ignorant demands upon the mountain, their attempt to thieve from the rightful acclamation of Thorin Oakenshield, bearer of Orcrist. Sadly, Thorin Oakenshield was lost in this brief clash of differences, but our timely arrival won the battle of the five armies, a battle that we saw our revenge upon the line of Azog. We relished in the slaying of Bolg of the Misty Mountains, Azog's son, in vain. This wondrous act forever weakened the goblins' hold on that far domain. Our arrival was not timely by fate alone, for dwarves may not be fast as elves are in war, but we have such strength that we march for days without rest, on limited rations, hard tack and dried meat, as the Iron Hills have birthed us to do. The ravens still remember us, their wings bringing word of events afar. Dane II is our king, the greatest lord of the dwarves, rich and strong beyond any man's line, robust and bold beyond the strength of elves and men. Balin of Fundin's blood reclaims Moria, the kingdom of KHAZAD, and no other dwarven realm shows strength enough to support this as we do, albeit against Dane's will. Alone of all races we remained resistant to the devilry contained within the dark gifts that lay like poison in the 7 dwarven rings. They spelt our doom, however, as the dragons hunted us for them and the riches they brought us, as did Sauron to recover that which did not work to his ends. We have renewed our friendship with the ravens, and they float in flight upon our war banners as we prepare for war once more. More, we have turned the wary silence between the dwarves and the men of Dale into a grand friendship which has brought bounty in ways we cannot possibly provide to ourselves. Their trade has brought prosperity to their people and brought our survival and a true friendship we do not enjoy elsewhere. If our efforts fall to destitution, they have our hold to retreat to, and Erebor is impenetrable to almost any foe. We are threatened by the machinations of Sauron once more, and we will not give in. Resistance is in our very nature, hardy Aule's children of rock and stone. Preparations are underway for you to lead our armies to victory, but it will not be easy, for we are not numberless. We will face the Easterlings, orcs from Dol Guldur, and our enmity with dead Bolg's goblin kin will surely erupt once more. The shadow gathers its allies, and we stand in the face of Sauron in the north, where we shield even the elves from his terrible intent. We are well suited to this final war. Dane has amassed riches beyond compare, our mines lay deep, and our armories are well stocked with mastersmiths' fashioning of arms and armour. The mattocks and mail of the very dwarves to fight Bolg in the past will sing in a shrill war paean once more. The blood of black goblins and thin blood of man will surely spill across battlefields. Our strength is augmented by our great friends in Dale. The toys we make for their children have won us a deserving friendship that gives our forces hope, strength unbound in that we do not stand alone. Never a stronger dwarven realm has there been since the glorious days of KHAZAD. Hello there, Default Gamers and Jonathan Lindsay. So yes, Erebor, recruitment report, that's just the barracks event stuff, which will of course be a big step up in quality for us, because as one of those nations that has access to some really strong units in the late game, being that we are dwarven, we definitely want to do that. So, state of play at the start, we are a relatively small realm, just 2 territories, albeit they are rather large territories. It's actually more a pain than it first appears, because it means just getting across our realm, even though in game terms it's quite small, takes quite a while. So we have Erebor itself, of course, and Kirik Gathol, the seat of power in the Iron Hills, which is nice. We also have 4 generals, including Gimli, which is nice. So we've got our first member of the Fellowship that we've had in one of these campaigns. Commander of the Iron Guard, Dwarven Coat of Mails. He's got a ton of traits, lots of stuff which will give him extra hit points as well. Dwarven Helmet, Dwarven Shield, Gimli's Axes, and yeah, obviously fantastic character to have. And I believe, yes, Axe Guard of Erebor. So this is one of our 3 Lango. Hey Lango. Abandon all reason, leave Dale for death, and play Survive the Swarm. We're not leaving Dale for death, absolutely not. We will fight together. But Yeah, Axe Guard of Erebor. This is one of our tier 3 shock infantry. Actually, the weakest of the tier 3 shock infantry we have in melee, I think, because the others have both got defense values above 30. Difference being, though, that this one has a missile attack, which gives it just that little bit extra utility, especially early on. They're going to savage anything in the early game, really, with their axes at range and in melee. Can actually hire a mercenary unit right off the bat, which we might do, to be honest with you, especially seeing as it's Dale cavalry, and cavalry is one of our weakest points. Got some dwarven labourers. We've got Gloin, Gimli's father, who I think this gentleman has just got a regular unit, so he's got, again, some more basic aspects to his retinue there. Yeah, and he's just got a basic bodyguard. Fear those Gundabad boys are no joke. Thank you, Windy, very much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, Gundabad are a good faction. They're actually quite well suited to fighting us as well, especially as the campaign wears on, but more on that in just a second. Shall have a quick scan of Gimli's retinue? Yeah, we'll go back to that in just a second. We did just look at that, but we can do that again. You can see the huge total defence that the best dwarven units have. Getting over 30 defence is quite rare in Divide and Conquer. Generally speaking, only a handful of elven, dwarven, and a couple of human units manage it. Outside of like trolls and monstrous units, of course, because they need it to be viable. But yeah, Durin's Guard, this is our basic bodyguard unit. So they aren't the spears that we had as the R.R. Denayan, but they are still a very, very strong unit. Probably better in a sustained melee and a ground war, to be honest with you, so that is all well and good. No extra hit points for Gloin, actually, which is quite interesting, but we'll probably be using him more as a governor anyway. So Gimli has got a lot of stuff. So he's got the commander of the Iron Guard, dwarven coat of mails, a helmet, a shield, and axes. So a couple of things which add to his hit points as well, which is nice. Gundabad is no threat. You can probably beat them in 30 turns. Early on, I would say, yeah, Val, like we do have a substantial advantage against their units early. But later, if we allow them to live, it could become a bit more of a problem when they start getting stuff like their Orc Avengers. In Erebor itself, we've got a couple of units of Erebor infantry. We also have the main man himself, who we actually, I think, need to get out of the settlement before we can utilise him. But regardless, we have got... I know that his unit is Sons of the Fallen, which is an incredibly powerful spear unit. So very much like our Gimel card from the last campaign, our faction leader has got the finest unit of spears that we can have. Albeit, the Sons of the Fallen, I think you need a certain settlement to be able to train them as a regular unit. In much the same way as the Hammers of Gundabad. Only with the Hammers of Gundabad it's obvious what settlement you need. I can't recall which one of the settlements you need for the Sons of the Fallen. Is Divide and Conquer the same mod as Reforged? No, John, it's not. It's a different sub-mod. A man can't live long enough to establish true friendship with a dwarf. Yeah, he's got the King of Durin's folk, so yeah, naturally our faction leader is going to have all of the very best stuff. King under the mountain. Again, this is more stuff this is something that would be much more useful if he were going to be used as a governor, but we're not going to be doing that, of course. We're going to be doing something much more fun, and that is going to be using Dane on the battlefield. He has got Made in the Iron Hills, Dane's Axe, we've got a dwarven coat of mails, and a dwarven helmet, so he's got plenty of hit points, and he's in a very strong unit as it is anyway. Spies and diplomats, which we shall probably need to build as well. We can build Axe Guard of Erebor right from the start, which is quite interesting. That means they're just a region-locked unit, which this is effectively a post-barracks event unit, which is kind of tier 3 that we can build immediately, which is crazy when you think about it, so we will definitely want to build as many of them as possible. And I believe Thorin over here, he is our faction heir, so he has a slightly more numerous unit of Durin's Guard, but it's still just the basic bodyguard for Lord Thorin. Not Thorin Oakenshield, it's Thorin Stonebrand or Stonebeard or something along those lines. He's the one who takes over in the books after Dane falls at the Battle of Dale. Yeah, he's got royal armour, a dwarven flute, Iron Hill sword, the Oakenshield, which is kind of interesting. So he technically is Thorin Oakenshield because he's taken that for himself. I'm sure there's better than a lump of wood that's lying around the Iron Hills. And he's got Orcrist as well. So I guess this is more of like an Easter egg than anything else, because this isn't the same Thorin. But he's got Orcrist nonetheless, which is fairly interesting. So, he is a governor because he is governing his coin. Dane's Halls, I believe. Yes, that may very well be it. That's the settlement that's about here, isn't it? Anyway, first thing is first. the state of play at the start of the game, we have probably a fairly comfortable start. We're not going to be under pressure immediately in the same way that some factions are, or at least not in a way that puts us immediately at risk of like capitulation. I imagine Gundabad will very quickly be upon us. And yeah, we're at war immediately actually with Rune and Gundabad, which is quite interesting, and we are allied to our two dwarven brethren, and of course Dale just to the south. We will want to be getting some more alliances. Unlike the Aradanaim, as Erebor we have plenty of opportunities to make friends around us, and this time we will try to do a much better job of that than we did as the Black Numenorians. The victory conditions for this campaign, though, are going to be somewhat nebulous, because it kind of depends on what happens, because if I just set it out to basically liberate the mountains and defeat Rune, it could very well be quite a short campaign, depending upon how our AI companions do. Dorwinion in both of the campaigns previously, after all, have beaten Rune on their own, which has meant that they've not really been a threat, so we might not need to face them down as much. Hello, Calvin. And Gundabad, I mean, if we focus on them, there's a possibility that we're going to get a fair amount of help in dealing with them, depending upon what the Anduin Vale do, and depending upon what the Woodland Realm do. So it's kind of an interesting point. I think we will have to take the lead against Gundabad more than anything else, though. If we allow Anduin to get pressured, they probably will capitulate in the face of the Orcs. And also Angmar. Angmar have a tendency to lose depending on what Ered Luin do. Now that is also another big deciding factor in what's going to happen in this campaign, and that is Ered Luin. If they accept Sauron's gift of the rings, we will have to go and deal with our rebellious brethren over here in the Blue Mountains, so we will have to go over and effectively deal with them. To be honest with you, the High Elves normally do that anyway if the AI accepts Sauron's gift, but thematically I think it would make sense for us to be quite displeased with that, because of course in the actual story that was the offer that was given to Dane, and I assume that has just passed and he has just turned Sauron down. So to learn that our brethren in the west have accepted that deal will probably make us rather angry. So your higher tier infantry depends on you going to war with Gundabad. Take Dane's Halls to get Dragon Slayers. Yeah, Dragon Slayers are a little bit more widespread because they come from all of the units in the Arid Mithrin region here. So this entire mountain range, I think, we can get Dragon Slayers from, but that's post-Barracks event anyway, I believe. Unless it all works like the Axe Guard of Erebor, in which case we can get some of our most potent units before the Barracks event, which would be quite interesting, and nothing would be able to stand against us at this point in the game. But yes, we will be going to war with Gundabad. They will be our first port of call because there's some rebel expansion we can do over here. We will be sort of trying to take the very northern edge of the map with Thorin over here, just slowly but surely. The auto-expansion for Erebor usually gives Erebor the two territories that are over here anyway, so that's what we'll do first and foremost. And that'll give us a border with Rune then, and we can start trying to sort of plug away at them just a little bit. Yeah, Hammers of Gundabad, that is one of my concerns. We will get going in just a second and I'll stop rambling, but the Hammers of Gundabad only come from Mount Gundabad over here. My main issue is I have to go through the entirety of Gundabad's territory to get to Mount Gundabad, whereas the Anduin Vale start right here and they could just pinch it out from under me, and that would be incredibly annoying, which is one of the reasons why when I go to invade Gundabad I want to have a really, really solid force right from the very start, if at all possible. Speaking of which, let's get going, to be honest, and I think first and foremost we need mines, because that will give us tons and tons of gold, because the dwarven mines are by far the best there is. This will also be quite useful because the Oricani are the dwarves of the Red Mountains, will be sending us a little bit of support when we build these. We can build them in mountainous regions. And they offer our only unit really of basic archers outside of the ones we get on loan from Dale. Income will not be an issue at all. You wouldn't think so, your enemy's friend. It kind of depends on how much I spread myself thin, fighting Gundabad on one side and Rune on the other. Gundabad is not that big a deal. Most likely thing is a war with Angmar. Well, yeah, I mean, the earlier we can finish Gundabad off, the better, because if we allow them to get into the late game, stuff like the Orc Avengers and the Half-Trolls do become more of a problem. Like, they are quite well suited to fighting us. And also, what Gundabad are weak to is archers, of which we have a very limited selection, so we're not really well suited to kill them as efficiently as possible, but c'est la vie. We're going to go for mines first. We're going to go for those economic buildings first and foremost. I think we're going to go for mines in both areas, to be honest with you, because, yeah, we will. We definitely want siege as well. Dwarven siege is monstrously good. and so that is what we want. Gimli, you, to be honest, can actually grab this unit of mercs. I've got no issues with spending my money early. We do want a diplomat, and we do want... so actually, we can train those in 3 turns. They only take 1 turn to recruit, though, the Erebor infantry and Iron Hills Mattocks, which is quite nice. So I imagine they take a little bit longer to replenish. Imagine you lose your capital to a dragon. That'll be the day. We don't necessarily desperately need something like that right from the off. We'll just go for some Northman archers. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin, after all, in terms of the old finances right away. And we can get away with having slightly smaller armies all around. Yeah, we'll go for a unit of Erebor infantry as well. And that is pretty much all we can do. Well, actually, we can probably go this way. And there are no mercenaries to... Right, well, we'll go a little bit further and construct a watchtower. And with you, we'll construct another watchtower over there as well, just to give a little bit more visibility. When you take down Gundabad, the Woodland Realm, Anduin and Dale will destroy Dol Guldur, and Dorwinion will wreck Rune. It is something that I'm a little bit worried about, because, to be honest with you, Dale, in the last 2 campaigns, it feels as if that it's almost like they've gotten bored, because Dol Guldur were never a threat in the other 2 campaigns, and nor were Rune. So it's like the AI got a little bit bored and decided to attack like either the Woodland Realm or Dorwinion, so I'm a little bit concerned that that's what they're going to do again. I would really rather they didn't do that. We've got enough beasts at our back without Dale deciding, you know what, we're just going to attack random elves. And that's pretty much all we can do. Fairly easy early on. Right, hold on a minute. I don't know why on earth the music is that loud. Well, we might have to deal with that in just a second, because if WB catch any wind of me brazenly not turning the music down, I'll get shut down pretty quickly. It's nice to have trade with an ally that is right there as well. Trade between Erebor and Dale should be prosperous, you would hope. Honestly, this camp, like I said, if it turns out to be relatively easy, this campaign, Mori has been reclaimed as well as the Thalon, very nice. I think that was just a sound effect actually, wasn't it? So we can probably get away with turning it back up to there. We should be fine with that. Dwarven armour should be really high, right? It is, yeah, your enemy's friend. It's absolutely massive. That's why our very best units go into the defense values numbering in the 30s, mainly because of armour. And right, we have 2 diplomats now, one of which we shall send this way,
I must stop here, sire.
and the other one we shall send down towards Dorwinion.
I'll continue tomorrow, sire.
But yeah, defense values are not going to be too much of a problem for us. I do wonder actually what on earth is going on here. That's sound values going a little bit haywire. So we're still building that. We've got some Northman archers on the way, and we should definitely build another unit. 3 turns for them is quite a long time. Let's go for a unit of Erebor infantry again. And over here in Kirik Gathol, we don't have any recruitment slots over here, which is a little bit frustrating. But there's no immediate rush, I don't think, there anyway.
Aye, my liege.
Right, we're going to go this way with Gloin, because they could go all the way around the back over here if they were feeling especially awkward about things.
Setting a vigilant watch. Honor, my lord.
Right, let's get you in there. Gimli. Yeah, it's just a matter of waiting really in the early game, I suppose. We could do with a spy as well, but not before we get those two. Want to hear something funny? Okay. I've turned the graphics up a little bit more as well, just in a couple of settings that usually aren't all that important, but we will do so anyway. I really don't understand why the music is so incredibly loud. Yeah, it's sound effects. Okay, yeah, you're going down then. Again, I try to avoid this, but it's one of those unfortunate facts of life. We cannot be listening to Lord of the Rings music. Otherwise they will come for me. Hey there, George. Right, and what is happening here? Well, this is interesting. A little cutscene. So I suppose these are all the dwarven holds that we need to retake. Well, I mean... initiate relations with the Woodland Realm and I will be rewarded with a military unit. Perfect. Dwarven grudges. Long have the dwarves been at war with the forces of evil, fighting hordes of goblins from the Misty Mountains, legions of uruks from Gundabad, the Bane of Durin in KHAZAD, and dragons in the Grey Mountains. Our ancient homes of KHAZAD, Danes Halls, Erebor, and Gundabad were lost to our enemies. For centuries have these sacred halls, built by our ancestors, laid in ruins, pillaged and defiled by the enemy. No more, we say. The time has come for these grudges to be settled once and for all. It is an affront to anyone who calls himself a dwarf to wait any longer reclaiming these cities. Not since the days of Thrain II and War of the Orcs and Dwarves has any dwarven king had the courage to muster an army and march upon these cities. While we slew many orcs and goblins in the war, we failed to reclaim any of our ancient homes. Not until Thorin Oakenshield managed to reclaim Erebor in his quest has any ancient dwarven city returned to dwarven ownership. But we have waited long enough. Years have passed with elders grumbling about these expeditions that should have happened long ago. Balin, son of Fundin, has started an expedition to reclaim the halls of KHAZAD of his ancestors once more. He goes with the trust and the help of King of Erebor, King Dane Ironfist, who has taken it upon himself to rally the armies of Erebor in the Iron Hills to stand against the growing danger from the Easterlings and forces of Mordor. Yet his thoughts also wander to the Grey Mountains and Gundabad. March out, fellow dwarves, the time for victory has come. Victory shall be ours. BARUK KHAZAD, KHAZAD I Menu. Magnificent. So, I mean, this is as close as it gets really to a script for Erebor. They're a little bit lighter on scripts in comparison, certainly to Ered Luin, but also to KHAZAD. KHAZAD scripts are fairly simplistic as well, though. Right, you can go over here.
Making camp here,
and recruitment. So, we've already got a decent force, to be honest with you, which we could think about sending out, especially with those labourers. So yeah, I think we'll go for a unit, an extra bit of AP from the Iron Hills Mattocks, and we'll go for a spy as well, because that will really be of help. Again, how loud this music is starting to stress me out. There is nothing to do. Time to retake Erebor as the clip wanted. Send your armies and kill the fort holder. Yeah, I suppose so. We must reclaim Erebor from ourselves. We were the true enemy all along. Right, we're still building there. Right, we can get a military unit as well. Right, Thranduil was a real pain in the arse in the Lothlorien campaign, so I imagine he's going to be even more antagonistic to a dwarf, especially a dwarf with limited trade rights. That's balanced. How about I give you some map information as well?
This seems quite reasonable.
Good. I'm glad you think so,
Well.
Thranduil.
What else do you have to suggest?
Axguard of Erebor is a great AP unit. Indeed it is,
Honor
Kobe.
and a pleasure. Farewell.
At range and in melee. Been rewarded with a unit of Northmen archers at our capital.
Aye, my liege.
Probably the most basic unit that we could have hoped for there. Right, hold on a moment. There's got to be a better way of... Hopefully that will be sufficient. But yeah, we've got 2 units of archers now. They may be very, very basic, with only a missile attack of... Well, to be fair, the missile attack is the same as the Oricani archers will get. Their defense values are just woeful. But the key is Gundabad, of course, do quite poorly under arrow fire. If it turns out to be too easy, you can go for Enidwaith. I mean, that's, yeah, I keep getting distracted from talking about that. But essentially, if it comes down to it, what we could do is grab the ring and march into Mordor and finish off Sauron. Now, ideally, I don't want the end of the campaign to once again be marching into Mordor, just as it was with Lothlorien and the Aradanaim. But if needs must, if Ered Luin rejects Sauron's gifts and Angmar crumbles under the weight of the dwarves, elves, and Dunedain, if we kill off Gundabad and as a result Dol Guldur fall apart as well, if Dorwinion are dominant against Rhûn as they have been, really the north will have been secured, and we'll have to look southwards towards Mordor and possibly Isengard as well. So like I said, I'm not really... It'll only... for crying out loud. Really starting to get on my nerves. It's like it wants WB to find me and just sponge my channel out of existence. Anyway. Like I said, I'm not going to decide on a victory condition for this campaign yet because it's so nebulous depending upon what happens. Because I don't want it to just be a simple case of us marching forth and crushing the enemy at every single turn. Kirit Gathol, yeah, we've got 4 turns left until the mines are done.
Aye, Lord.
Yeah, you can stay there as well. Bit of free upkeep.
Honor, my lord. Aye, noble son. My king. We'll rest here the night, sir.
Alright, you can't move any further. I am a fool. No units in that area. Okay. Next turn, I think we can actually start moving out with our forces and start probing Gundabad's defences. Am I the only one that can't hear the music? Well, I mean, I'm trying to turn it down to the point where it's just barely on the edge of hearing, Hayden, because otherwise it's all over for me. You will scarcely find a more protected music score. Every time I played Dwarves, Rhûn stomps Dorwinion. Hasn't been the case in the last 2 campaigns at all. Rhûn have collapsed under Dorwinion's might, especially in the first campaign. Dorwinion were by far the strongest faction on the map by the end. Right, we also want to probably get trade rights with the Anduin Vale. What I'm hoping for as well, if I can tie everyone into sort of a web of an alliance, it will... Dale will be less tempted to do what they have done so far, which is to, for some reason...
His journey is over, sire.
Here we go, a spy. So, do we want to go up into the hills first, or do we want to try and take... There's a village here that Gundabad hold, I'm pretty sure. So we'll get a spy forward. Yes, here it is. It's not an awful lot here. Yeah, these... I mean, their Snowwalk scouts are going to be better than our archers, but in melee at this stage of the game we are utterly dominant against whatever they deign to bring our way. Dane, of course, wasn't in favour, actually, of Balin's expedition to KHAZAD, but now that he has gone there...
Aye, my liege.
I find it hard to believe that Erebor is... we won't have a very high tax rate, just a high tax rate for now, so that we are gaining. We need that sweet cash, after all. Oh yes, and these 2 we will begin sending up this way as well, because we're not getting free upkeep on them anyway. Surprisingly, Thranduil would rather listen to dwarves than fellow elves. Maybe it was just because I asked for an alliance right off the bat and then he became stubborn. This time I'm just going to be like, hey, how about just some trade first? Some nice trade. Right, I don't think we need any more cavalry, to be honest with you.
Awaiting your command.
You can go this way. Right, Legolas should be in here, shouldn't he? Yeah, there he is. He's one of the best bodyguard units in the game as well. So yeah, we will be heading up here. Dwarven Labourer is going to follow us in as well. And again, that's all we can really do at this stage in proceedings. We do need to start moving forwards though. I think we do take this village, to be honest with you. It's a town. And we should probably send our spy up this way then, following on from that. Yeah, we want trade, and then we'll transition trade into an alliance with Dorwinion, the Woodland Realm, and the Anduin Vale. And we can form a real powerhouse in the north. Eventually we will split off Gimli and Dane to form their own individual armies, because I don't want to like general spam too much, because that can be quite cheesy. It's not a particularly large army, actually. It's the sort of army where, to be honest, we could probably hold with just our labourers, I want to say. Possibly with the general as well, but we can always send them back at a later date. Right, just 2 turns until the mines are complete.
My lord.
I think we are actually losing money at a fair rate.
Aye, sire.
There it is.
Opening
We missed.
dignitary, sire.
So, yeah, we're losing cash.
Aye, sire.
So we do want to try and seize a town immediately, really.
Honor, my lord. Marching now.
Let's go for it.
By your will, sire,
we
we shall engage.
Cannot
We shall hold them to siege,
assault it
sire.
immediately.
Aye, sire. We hold them at siege.
Hey there, Wesley. There are 2 towns southeast that are worth taking. Well, to be honest with you, this is more a sort of... I don't know whether to say, like, it's more a sort of narrative thing, really. But I'm not going to be taking territories in the Rovanian, really, because I'd rather just leave them to Dale. And I would rather just take sort of like the northern edge of the mountains over here. The territories Erebor usually have, basically, and then I can funnel into Rune like this way, essentially, because I can let Dorwinion and Dale, if it comes to that, face Rune. Dorwinion losing as well would actually give Dale the enemy they so desperately seem to seek. Play the Third Age Reforged campaign of Numenor. Skarn is a village. Probably. There is...
My king.
Right, so I think that's all we can do again, isn't it? Again, when you have such... I'm so used to having like several things that need to happen early on that I'm not terribly used to having a turn where I only do one thing and then immediately passing the turn to the next. Right, let's see what Gundabad do there. Why don't you go for Orzanar first? It's a good money maker. Because this was closer, and this had more orcs, so it means like the little pass that I was just covering with my labourers there was only a few orcs in there that would be probably be enough. We'll see if this is enough, actually. This could be quite interesting. I just didn't want reinforcements to come from this way. What have you got? Snow Orc Scouts and Snow Orc Raiders. Okay, 9, 6, 12. Doesn't tell me what I could do here. Interesting. I mean, I feel like positionally we should probably be okay. I mean, these are the closest thing we have to trash. Well, we'll see what they do. We'll withdraw. That's such a pitiful retreat. Well, we'll see what they do then. I mean, honestly, I don't like going into the battle and then withdrawing, and I don't like the fact that that's a different result. Like, I don't like how you have like close retreats and far retreats.
Stand victorious.
Mainly because the close retreats are so utterly pointless that they may as well not even be a thing. You can't win that? Well, we'll see. We're losing money anyway, so I don't really care about the Dwarven labourers. Oh, lovely. What a lovely battle map we have as well. An auspicious start. We might get a man of the hour if we can win this, which is nice, but which is something at least. Right, where can we go? Because they've got an absolutely enormous terrain advantage, which is a real problem because they're the only ones with archers on the field today. I suppose we have to go over here. Yeah, the Snow Orcs are not armoured at all, so AP is not really going to be terribly useful on this occasion. Wow, this battle map is rancid as well. I suppose we can try and hide in the trees. I mean, this will at least give... Our general won't be hidden, of course, but if we can go back here with him, what we could try and do is draw them in And then we could get like a sneaky charge off with them when they're not really expecting it, and then we can try and go around the flank here. I don't know how. I'm used to Total War screwing you over massively in terms of the stats of the enemy army when you're on harder difficulty. That isn't the case on Med 2, I do not believe. What have we actually got here? Right, anyway. Some of them are archers. I mean, to be fair, if we can get the archers into melee, we might be okay. But yeah, I don't really expect to win this, if I'm being brutally honest, unless we can kill off their captain first, because I think the good thing about being dwarves are, even at the very basic level with dwarven labourers, our morale is pretty good. Crouching in the trees. Right, okay. If this battle map was the other way round, it would be way better for us, because their archers would have like absolutely dreadful range. And we could make pretty good use of that, I think. If we can get this unit in the front here to maybe go around and get into the archers, like we should be able to beat the Snow Orc archers in melee at the very least. Yeah, they are slightly better, but I mean, to be fair, most of their defense does come from melee defense instead of armor, which if we can get a good engagement, we can actually cut that down significantly. I mean, I do think that this is all going to come down to whether or not we can engage their archers properly, but I feel as though we're probably going to be starting off this campaign with a defeat, to be honest with you. I was thinking about leaving a unit of archers behind with them, which probably would have made all the difference here, especially against a faction such as Gundabad. Yeah, I know that, Val. But it's not the end of the world, this, because they're not going to be able to move substantially after this. And I mean, the main army that we have is going to just smash one of their settlements to pieces. Right, so that's the archers. The raiders are... It's kind of a little bit awkward, I suppose, but... Right. As soon as they reveal... Right. As soon as they get revealed, we have to charge them in, because they will start getting shot almost immediately. It's a surprisingly decent hiding spot, that, isn't it? Where are they going? Okay, sod it. We'll just go charging in. Not very quick, the dwarves, though, it must be said. But we are in the trees. This could be a good engagement as well. We could wrap around them. What are you doing? No, keep charging. That's like the worst possible time you could have chosen to do the Medieval 2 shimmy. And again! You're supposed to charge! Wow. Thank you, Medieval 2. You're the best. Truly worthy of my undying affection. Such an annoying thing. Medieval 2, it gives and it takes. They decided to just sort of stand the other way. Again, they're doing it again. Come on, you fools. Charge in there. Yeah, we're going to lose fairly handily here because the charges were absolute dross. Typical. We might do a decent amount of damage there. We'll have to wait and see. Kind of depends on how much damage we can do to the Snow Orcs. It really doesn't help.
Lord, only half our force remains.
What are they doing? This is an actual joke. wide formations like that, you're supposed to wrap in and around, but again, just the... Wow. A sour start, I have to say. I'm not too impressed by that. Again. Why are they on guard mode in the first place?
Our general lies slain upon the battlefield. We have been dealt a stinging defeat today.
Don't know why on earth they were even on guard mode in the first place. Absolute jokes. Well, once again, Divide and Conquer has a fantastic way of just ruining my bloody enthusiasm. I was expecting to lose, but not because of that. Absolutely pathetic.
No, my lord.
No, you're fucking useless. You can die. Well, it frees up a bit of money, I suppose. Yes.
Your Honor. Yes, sire. I'm a
Right.
here, sire.
Okay. We're in the red. Classic.
Fashionable, sire.
Right. This is where we... Shagug. Who is... What is this guy? He's just regular mountain guard. Okay. Well,
The time's
let's do it.
come, lads. To battle.
No, this campaign isn't going to be more annoying than the Lorien one.
The battle seems to be swinging in our favour. From such tidings does victory
You're-
emerge.
What a bright man the announcer is. Those labourers were absolutely pathetic. We won't be building many of them in this campaign, I fear. Right. You can drop your... Erebor infantry. We'll have a look at some of these units as well when we are able. There's Gimli, Iron Hills, Mattocks, and Sons of the Fallen. So, Sons of the Fallen. Yeah, we didn't see them before, but massive total defense, obviously, of 32. Really, really strong spears, stronger than the Narun Aru Royal Guard. Certainly in terms of their total defense, but also in terms of their attack. And obviously, the more chevrons we get, the better that's going to be. It's not a huge difference between the two units, to be honest, but it is in the dwarves' favour, as you would probably expect. But probably the more substantial offering we have, at least in a battle like this, will be the Axe Guard. And there is Gimli, wielding his axe one-handed. And then we have the Erebor infantry as well, the standard version, and the version that has an upgrade, covered in their scale mail. Right then. Wonderful. So they have nothing in terms of ranged units, which is exactly what is going to be good for us. We can use up all of our ammunition. This is where Gundabad should be at their weakest. Those Sons of the Fallen cost a leg and a half, though. Well, yeah, but you would expect so. It's the advantage of some of, like, the unique bodyguards cost no upkeep, don't they? Because, like, that's just how it works in Med 2. There aren't many unique bodyguards, and one of them is Sauron, so by that point in the game you won't care about free upkeep so much by the time you get him. But I think for Aragorn, Elrond, and someone else, Saruman, I think, isn't it? Those are the four that have completely unique bodyguards, which means you don't pay upkeep on them, which is pretty nice for them. Right, well, actually, the range on this is not. Range on these boys is not bad. Very nice, Men of Dale. Very, very nice. Where are we going here? I think we're probably actually better off going after the Raiders with these boys, because they're not the best in terms of the damage that they offer. Very similar to the first battle map of the Lorien campaign. Yeah, you shoot at them. And you do the same. Ooh, they're going in already. And they are mounting guard, I suppose. So, I mean, they're not absolutely shocking. But we should be... Yeah, they're going to get absolutely rinsed. You can charge forward as well.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the
Very
enemy.
familiar unit model for the Sons of the Fallen, obviously. I do like the fact that Dane has got Sons of the Fallen as his bodyguard, though, because it's very lore appropriate considering he was at Azanul Bazaar. They're getting destroyed by archers and by Gimli's throwing axes.
Our men have taken control of the city. The enemy are badly blooded. They have lost half their men.
Just wondering if they would pull out of that fight. It doesn't look like they are. Okay. You can recruit those guys.
Control of the city.
Actually, you can. Yeah, we'll just let the archers do their thing, I think. And then go through with the Erebor infantry. There we go.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
I would certainly hope so. Ooh, and they're leaving. Shocking scenes if that's what you intend to do. You're not going into melee. Getting a little bit too big for your boots there, my friends. Sons of the Fallen are the best looking unit in the game. Changed my mind. Hello, Winged. At least you won't be losing any units. Well, you'd hope not, as the dwarves. This should be like our bread and butter. Well, actually, you know what? We'll just... Even the most basic of archers should be useful. Our archers are so poor in terms of return fire, though, so we do need to be a little bit careful of that. Even lowly orcs will be enough. See if we can get some Iron Hills Mattocks in on the fun as well. You know what? You've probably done enough already. We'll just deal with them with a charge. Few throwing axes would not go amiss. There we go. This is an actual general as well. Mountain Guard are certainly no joke, though. Right, this should be the end of them, surely. Although, once again, the charge has been broken up entirely. You hate to see it. In fact, you know what? You've disgraced yourself with that charge. You will leave, and you will never be doing that again. You'll be relegated to only running units down from here on out.
Our men have taken control of the city.
Gimli should do a better job, you would hope, with those massive two-handed axes that they use. Right, less of that. Yeah, less of that. There we go, that's much more like it.
The battle is very
This individual needs to be killed off more quickly.
True and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Cleave him down, if you please. There are a couple of things to watch out for, actually, in the Dwarven roster in terms of bugged numbers. The most annoying one, from our perspective, is probably going to be the Halberdiers, who have got an absolutely pitiful attack score. There's no way. Come on, Mounting Guard beating 105 Sons of the Fallen. Medieval 2. You're embarrassing yourself again. Massive levels of fraudulence going on here.
Our man no longer command. Good tidings. The enemy general lies dead. We have sent
Oh, their general was in there. Oh, that might have been why. They might have been viewed as beating the Erebor infantry, which even in itself is laughable because there was only one of their unit models in there. Anyway. Not terrible.
All of the victory we have won here today.
I don't even know what sort of... We'll probably exterminate the populace of this place, to be honest with you, because I just want to probably leave a defensive force back here. Do we leave Gimli over here? Or do we leave Dane here? I think we'd probably leave Dane, to be honest, with the archers.
Glory and honor.
Hopefully there's a fighter pit we can demolish as well.
Most noble conquest, sire.
Actually, we'll just occupy it. There's so little that's actually there. Right, so we'll leave Dane, Gimli, and Gimli could probably take that on his own, to be honest with you, but we won't do that. We will take a smattering of units. All of them can make it, can't they? Yes, they can. Okay, good. So Gimli can go there as well as the cavalry, because they'll be much more useful out on the open field.
Combining the armies, sire.
And then
My king.
maybe the unupgraded infantry. And what is this over here? 4 units.
Honor, my lord.
Well, this will be enough to finish off you.
Will, sire. We shall engage.
You'd hope. Having next to no ranged capabilities is a little bit of a... You have some culture in the settlement. Yeah, I guess it's early enough that like the basic culture of these areas still hasn't been warped by the game playing out. Melkor's shadow is not yet 100 in every single settlement on the map. Right, anyway. We'll be leading the way with you. To be fair, Gimli probably has got enough armour to just mow through, or march through, I should say, arrow fire fairly easily. We will need more units up, however. We don't want to be overtly aggressive, to be honest with you. Like, that's the thing. Like, there is the risk of being... I'll get that fraudulence off for a start. The AI trying to go up to the high ground might help us here, because it means we can utilise our cavalry to hopefully get some nice charges into the archers, which is this unit, naturally. We are slow and we have no real... Yeah, Gimli probably will get killed by a stray arrow. A stray arrow that does like 3 or 4 missile damage. Yeah, this time we will lay them low. This time we've got a very nice downhill charge. You were already moving. You've got no excuses this time. I know you're just like very basic cavalry. There we go. I knew you could do it. I knew you had it in you. Very nice. Oof. Deadly.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Go there like that. Now charge back downhill. They will undoubtedly try to go after Gimli, but again, mighty armour values means that that shouldn't be a problem. And this may very well be enough to rout this unit of Snowhawk scouts off, to be honest. There we go, they actually got up to charge speed again. Nice! Very nice. Will they rout? No, I guess their captain is still intact. It's not exactly a domineering melee cavalry unit. Right, throw your axes into them. Hey there, Welt. That's probably not enough room, is it? Are they going after them? No, I think they're still going after Gimli, aren't they? Yeah, they're getting massacred now. In fact, you're probably going to get more friendly fire doing that, so just charge into melee. Wow, there's not very many of them left at all. Yeah, and we're taking no losses from the Snowhawk Raiders. Or Scouts, I should say. The Raiders are the infantry variant. It's not these units I'm overtly worried about Gundabad, though. It's the later tier stuff they get. There we go.
The enemy general lies dead. We have
Our Dalian brethren doing their thing.
Look how our cowardly foe
We want them all dead.
It is time to press the attack.
There's one guy here as well. Took a few losses on our Erebor infantry, but
this is a clear victory.
nothing beats the look of plate armor upgrades in the Northern Dunedain units. Yeah, it's 26 losses. Could be better, but I don't expect much from Medieval 2's movement mechanics for me to be able to min-max to that extent. And that is the thing about the Dwarves, I suppose. While our infantry is incredibly strong, we do ultimately have to engage in melee to get the most out of what we have. So we can't really do the Elven or Dunedain thing where we dance around the units and take like literally no losses, because we're too slow for that and we don't have the missiles really to do that. We need to get stuck in. Yeah, I'm not letting you go. How many? Right, so Rakyaberg, Danes Halls, they've got that like unique settlement there, Gundabad. So yeah, like we're not in danger of triggering the Doom stack if we take Onazanar, which this will be pretty good. If we can take these two settlements, I'm actually willing to like hold on to both of them essentially.
Something to investigate.
Let's go this way. No units going this way just yet, so it's a good opportunity for us to... I'll tell you what, we'll go here for the time being, because we will need to start sending more units up when we can. Fortunately, we have another unit of Axguard of Erebor on hand, and we will soon have mines on the way as well. Then we should probably start looking to build some Otokani guild halls. Ah yes, you.
What is it you wish to discuss?
We have good relations. We have mixed reputation about trade rights, and I'll give you some map information.
This seems quite reasonable.
Good.
Another proposition.
I'm glad you think so.
And a pleasure. Farewell.
Hopefully you don't steal Gundabad away from me and take away my most elite infantry unit. I believe the Hammers of Gundabad in version 4.5 are like the best shock infantry in the game, depending on what you're looking for. They're certainly the most survivable armor-piercing shock infantry unit in the game, I think. So it would be quite annoying if I had to purchase Gundabad away from the Anduin Vale, but I'm hoping they have enough to get on with. They've got Goblin Town right there after all, so that's another place we should look to take though, definitely. Right. Do we... I am fairly tempted to get these Iron Hills Mattocks over here, so we've definitely got enough to win that. But also if they double back, yeah, we're fine. Okay. And Kirit Cathol doing its thing. Okay. Yep. Hammers of Gundabad can deploy spikes. I think Gundabad's Doom stack triggers at 2 settlements, so you don't have to worry about that much. Okay. Are they one of those that has a Doom stack that spawns for their capital as well? Because seemingly a lot of factions have that. Athelion reclaimed. Well done, Gondor. I mean, this is the thing, like, in the north, I think we will be able to defeat evil fairly easily, because, well, I say fairly easily, but because it has player influence on it, we should be able to win the north. Down here, though, we're about as far away from Gondor as we can get. Gondor and Rohan are going to be on their own. Rohan impressively beat Isengard in the last campaign. They only struggled because of Mordor's surging performance. But yeah, Isengard and Mordor could very well win the south quite handily because we are not there to assist, right?
Aye.
Actually, you've got free upkeep in there, haven't you? So I think we will leave you as is for the time being. A grain exchange probably wouldn't go amiss. That's more tradable goods, isn't it? Do we really have grain that we can trade? The Vale of Anduin takes Gundabad equals war. No, I don't really want to do that, your enemy's friend, because I was an unreliable player apparently, diplomacy-wise last time. I have no idea why, but I don't want to live that life again where everyone hates you because the AI has decided that it must be so. Ironmongers, that's quite cheap. We'll go with that actually, because that's pretty good as well. What have we here? We'll leave that as well, I think. Okay.
Aye, my liege.
So what have we got in there? Nothing really. So this is actually a fortress, which is a little bit concerning. It'd be really nice if you could see the battle map.
Awaiting your order, sire.
Right. No mercenaries available. We can't train anything here, but we could build something potentially in a moment. Yeah, they're not going to, I don't think, Val. They've been like staunchly against that, and I commend them for it. Right, there's really nothing else we can do again.
You're on.
Could potentially try and get some more trade with someone else. This is kind of a long and snaking province, this. There's a few walks over there.
At your service.
Yeah, there's Dane's Halls.
On my way.
A snow orc citadel.
Aye, my king.
I guess we'll go down this way with you.
I'll continue to
Maybe get a trade deal with Lorien just to open up good relations with them. That is an independent castle.
I must stop here, sire.
Must you indeed. Right, well, we're making money now at least, so... well, we'll see. We'll see what transpires there. Battle map for Ornazanar looks like... Oh, so it's a custom settlement, is it? Interesting. If it's... if it's Ballista Towers, we definitely won't be fighting that on the battle map, because... No thank you. Especially not when we're as slow as get an alliance with Anduin. I'll wait a little bit for that, because generally speaking the AI says, no, I don't think we will accept that alliance if you do so before you've established yourself. At least in my experience, they've just said no. The AI just likes being a pain in the backside. Axesmith's Guild in Witherboard? I mean, sure. Care Andros under attack, that didn't take long. Right then. Can we... No, you can't get all the way over there. Right, so yeah, we got some
Something to investigate.
we got some orc boys on the way over.
See me, sire.
Shall they not? Right, what have we actually got in this settlement, is my question. Just like the one dude. He is a general, which I assume is more mountain guard. They're not a joke mountain guard, but... I mean, it would be really nice if it could show me the battle map.
Aye, noble son. By your will, sire, we shall engage.
Is this Ballista Towers? Because... I don't feel bad about save scumming this, to be honest with you, because if you're sieging the damn place down, you would notice it. You would notice the you would notice the Ballista Towers. I mean, that's not an auto-resolve job, I don't think. We'll just get... We'll see.
Glory, we attack!
What's your favourite Game of Thrones character? I mean, it depends, like, which one I like the most, or what's my favourite character, because my favourite character is Tywin Lannister, but he's not the sort of character you like as such. This gives me well, Right, that, I mean, these boys here, towers, the big oof. I don't think it has ballista towers. I mean, if they're just arrow towers, I'm not that bothered because we should be able to do the business just fine there. And we got Gimli himself. Didn't realise Gimli was from Erebor. Yeah. I mean, his father is Gloin, who was in the Hobbit movies, and he was part of the company. I guess, well, I mean, the cavalry's not really going to be terribly useful here. This might be fairly costly, to be honest, but such is the way of things in the early game. I quite like this, actually. This is pretty cool. What have we got here? Ah, dwarven statues. It's a quite nice settlement, actually. I mean, it's not, if it doesn't have ballista towers, then it's not OP to defend, but we'll soon find out about that, won't we? Because the enemy is somewhere. Right. Anyway. We only get in that one section of wall. No, okay. Let's wait until they retreat into the town. Then the arrow towers don't work. Oh yeah, you got a good point there. Ah. What have we here? Legacy of Days Gone By. Looks a bit like a T-Rex skull, actually, more so than a dragon, but hey there, Dill. Not too much. We haven't really, we're like just under 10 turns in, so we aren't that far in at all. Little details. This one as well is quite a simple settlement, so the problems that some custom settlements have, like we encountered with Durthang last time, and to an extent Barad-dûr, the pathfinding in them can be a little bit topsy-turvy, we'll call it. Oh, there's still going to be bloody arrow towers there, aren't there? Actually no, those are buildings. There's only these at the front that are actually towers, which is kind of interesting. Okay, Dale, you can go that way. I mean, if we can shoot from the walls with our throwing axe boys, I feel pretty confident. Yeah, we've built some. Oh, they're falling back even further. Well, we won't be able to shoot from the walls. Well, actually, can we actually go in over here? You should be able to. If we can get up here, just shoot our axes down in there while they get engaged from the front by Erebor infantry. In fact, now that we don't, I don't know why we're doing this. We don't especially need to waste our energy. We could even actually get the Dalian cavalry in and amongst things just in case. They're probably not going to be all that useful, but no matter.
Our men have reached the walls with their ladders.
They're going to crisscross a little bit. Fascinating. Actually, that does somewhat match up. They're probably clipping a little bit, but I mean, it's not. Alright, so yeah, definitely what we want to be doing. You go over there. Gimli was born in the Blue Mountains, I think. Yeah, because he was already born by the time the company set out. So yeah, he would have been. Right. So we should be able to take the gatehouse and get our cavalry in here, which, you know, we don't need to run, just walk. There's no need to engage in your natural sprinting. We take the gate, get our cavalry in here.
We have captured the enemy's walls.
There we go. So we should be able to roll on in here now. There we go. And You can go like so. Right, is it possible to go over here? Yes, it is. Marvellous. Exactly what the situation called for. Right, so the Mountain Guard will be utterly dominant really in a melee fight against regular Erebor infantry, especially with no upgrades, such as the examples we have. Right. Ooh, this is a little bit... I mean, it's not great, if I'm being honest. We'll have to go there. We probably would have been better off actually just going down on the ground, but... no, we should still have a really good angle there. Gimli the Goblin Mutant. Right, here we go then. Right, this should be pretty devastating for the Mountain Guard. Armor-piercing missiles as these are. We may not have much in the way of archers, but in terms of throwing projectiles, our repertoire of throwing axes is pretty impressive, honestly, and this is, I think, the best one we have.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Yes, just what we want to be seeing. Can you cycle the Dale cab in the town square? I mean, probably not all that effectively, Ghostly. There's not a lot of room in here, and especially lower end cab, it tends to just bump into units when you try to charge at close range. You probably could, but it's probably not worth it. You'll take a few losses, especially in melee against something like the Mountain Guard, because of how deadly they are. Still, victory seems certain.
Badly blooded. They have lost half their men.
Yeah, so from here it'll be just a case of trying to shore things up a little bit more. We won't be advancing further into Gundabad territory just yet, but we have both of the roads they can take towards Erebor we have in our possession now. Right. So yeah, you get down here now, because I'm not entirely convinced. Yeah, it's still an even fight, and we have a big numbers advantage, but it is the difference between one of the scariest Gundabad units and the most basic unit of infantry we have. So it really can't be helped. That's a lot of losses. Can't be helped, really. Oh, Gimli, come on. We might have to use our cavalry. You gotta love the how slow infantry can be sometimes. Got to give them an extra prod, because that's how Medieval 2 works. Yeah, we're barely doing any damage to them in melee with the... Right. Let's go, please. A little bit more haste. This is what you boasted about, after all. It's not the end of the world, though, really. There was a small orc force on the way over here. I really don't want to use the cavalry, if I'm being honest, because they just won't do very well. And getting them out of melee with them again is... Yeah, we're going to lose that entire unit because of how slow Gimli is. Come on! I suppose this is what you expect from the dwarves. Again, they're going the wrong way. Medieval 2's legendary pathfinding, letting me down once more. There are many things that the older Total War games do very, very well. That sort of thing, not really one of them. Men of Dale. Right, come on. This is... Yeah, we're going to lose an entire unit, which is a little bit frustrating, but... Will you get your lances down? No, is the answer. Yeah. Cavalry just can't really perform very well in these close quarters. What's his special ability? I have no idea. Stubbornness of the dwarves is probably something which boosts your morale greatly and possibly restores fatigue. Possibly.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Well, actually, because our unit of Erebor infantry got absolutely massacred by the mountain guard. Gundabad are no joke. Like, unlike the other Orc factions, like Gundabad and Isengard, it seems it's a real theme that they are the stronger ones, whereas Mordor and Moria, or the Misty Mountains. Right, that could be enough room to get up a charge. I don't know if they will go for it though. No, they're going to slow down through the gate. Okay, pull back. We'll just let Gimli do his thing.
Our men are winning the battle.
Well, there is actually a time limit.
We will smash the enemy. Good news. Our men are in control of the castle.
Yeah, just get in there and kill them off. Have you ever tried the Númenórean campaign on Reforged? It's pure suffering. No, I haven't done Reforged campaigns because they're very unrefined at this point in time. Yeah, we lost a lot there. Threw our Erebor infantry under the bus, but just because we've got smaller armies at the moment, Gundabad, you know, they're not going to be able to do this swashbuckling style for very much longer. You can read it in the traits of the general. Yeah, we'll do that in just a second because it's the same for Dane as well. Mr. Dane Ironfoot. Mr. Billy Connolly. The more dwarves we lose, though, the better our income will be and the more we can replenish. Yeah, we'll occupy. They're not that happy with us, but, you know, they're just going to have to bloody well deal with it. Where are we? Yes, here we are. The special ability, Stubbornness of the Dwarves. 60 seconds, effects, yeah, so it replenishes fatigue, so that makes a lot of sense. Minus fatigue. Oh, I see, so, yeah, so it restores fatigue for the 60 seconds to a pretty big extent, but it increases your fatigue in the long run, so it's like an adrenaline rush. It locks your morale, which is very nice. It means that if you're in a sticky situation, you can keep fighting. And it rallies your own routing troops. So if that guarantees bringing your troops back that are routing, that's nice. But by the time you're routing, to be honest with you, it's probably too late anyway. Yeah, we've got 21 Erebor infantry remaining. Incredible scenes. Right, so he can stay there. I'm wondering, probably need another unit in defence over there, so we probably will send a unit of Northmen archers in that direction as well.
At your service. On my way.
So you can act as sort of a mobile watchtower for the time being, because we've got plenty of visibility in here because of the weird shape that this province is. And our friends from the Woodland Realm are also right here. Nothing else we can buy for 450 gold though, and we've already moved everyone, I believe. No, we haven't.
Yes, sire.
Dorwinian.
A proposition for us?
Would you like trade? I'll give you some map information.
Seems like a most reasonable deal to me.
Good.
There is something else you wish. The pleasure was all ours. Farewell.
Right. So that should, with Anduin and Dorwinian, the seeds have been planted. When the Reforged campaign is fleshed out, I wish I could play this. Why can't you? The Lego channel? Hey there, Armin. It's not a particularly demanding game.
Aye.
I mean, to be fair, all of the Lord of the Rings submods at this point stretch Medieval to itself pretty much to breaking point, but your PC will not be the bottleneck, I don't think. For most people, it's the game itself that tends to be the thing which halts progress. So yeah, that will be as far west as we expand for the time being. Even if Anduin somehow managed to take Mount Gundabad, the Doomstacks will probably banter them in the long run. So I don't feel too concerned about that. And yeah, the Reforged meta is for multiplayer, so I would agree that depending on how they handle it, like for Reforged in particular, Something that might end up being a bit of a problem when they actually do get round to adding more into the campaign is how powerful certain types of units are. Right, so they're going to try and go around my fortifications, are they? Betrothed, Gimli and Fried. Sure. An axesmith skilled in Onazanar. This, I think, is the weapon upgrader, isn't it? I don't want that, though, because I need to spend my money elsewhere. We've also got rioting there. How can, like, a group of, like, random dwarven travellers be rioting? Honestly, the cheek of it, really. The absolute cheek of it. Culture increase bonus. A pipe paw. Public order. Well, that's really quite useful indeed, because we need the public order, and we could do with some free upkeep slots now, which probably is what we're going to do down here as well. Public order bonus, recruitment slots. Yes. On the front line indeed. And I think we need one over here as well, don't we? Yes, we do. Stoneworkers Hall probably wouldn't go amiss, but yeah, we'll go for a Stoneworkers Hall, I suppose. Could really go for some Oricani, but we're not really in a position to do that at the moment. Actually, yeah, grain exchange. So we're not going to be able to recruit any more units, but I mean, there are armies that are potentially going in and behind us, but like they're not going to be able to, with the best will in the world, they're not going to be able to defeat Gloin and some Axguard. I wish CA would make Medieval 2 remastered version. Be careful what you wish for. That's a monkey's paw moment, I think, because I don't think CA are not the same company that they were back in 2006. The version of Medieval Total War that you would get now would be very different. Onazanar.
Yes, my king.
So we'll just follow you around, I guess.
Stick you.
Bolg's Champions. Where the hell did they get them? Well, it's a good thing, I suppose, that we've got plenty of ranged units to try and deal with them, because that is a nasty, nasty unit. Probably the best Gundabad unit overall, to be honest, depending on what you're after. Bolg's Champions. Seen it all now. I suppose, actually, we are... I mean, at this point, I think we do actually need to start moving them up. There is a hidden army around here, so I guess we can. So we shall save. And move forwards. Right, actually, for a start, you start heading down towards Karas Galadon. Do we have anything that we can do with you? I don't think there's really anyone else out here that we can actually get into some diplomacy things with. So I guess just start heading over towards... Actually, no, that's something that Rohan can do as well, isn't it? I guess this diplomat we can just keep free just in case we need to sort of broker for peace or something with someone. Warhammer is decent. Yeah, Warhammer is decent, but it's a completely different game to what Medieval 2 is and was. People who want a return to like the Medieval 2 way of doing things, or the Rome 1 way of doing things, like, you wouldn't get that. I promise you, you would not get that. Right, what is going on here? This might be a bit of a problem, actually. I think we need to get Dane out of Witherboard and chase those boys down. They're not actually sieging us, I don't think. Hornburg's being sieged, though. Come on now. Diplomatic relations with the Goblins of Moria. I mean, I suppose I can... There's more rioting. You hate to see it. We're getting absolutely bantered in our capital. Right. I suppose what we shall do is we shall insult the goblins. We will insult the goblins and cheese them for a free unit. Right. Can we reach that guy? We can. We don't want him to run, though. I mean, we'll be able to win that fight, and then we should win that fight as well. Right, so they're going this way, actually, which is somewhat interesting. They're going to try and reclaim Ornazanar.
Aye, sire.
So yeah, you're going to go up this way then.
Aye. Forward. We march no further today.
We can only get Dale Cav. One turn for that. This place is probably going to be unhappy if we leave with everything, but I don't think we have much of a choice.
Aye, noble son.
Right, we'll go and we'll take the healthier stuff.
March. Merging armies, sire. Leading the men
Okay.
with honor, sire.
So they are actually going to fight us, which is good to see. What would change? What, from this to a modern Total War? Well, a lot of things would change. I think in terms of gameplay, though, which is the most important one, the way that Medieval 2 does things is quite... It's a slow burn of a game. It's a slower pace. CA have gone down certainly a more arcadey route recently, which I think works very well for Warhammer, to be honest with you. I enjoy Warhammer for what it is. However, I think for something like this, it would not work very well. Like mobs, it also it tends to just devolve into a big old blob fight. I also don't like the way how in modern Total War, one of the reasons why if I were ever to do like a Warhammer campaign, I would definitely not be playing it on the highest difficulty, would be because the way that it achieves that difficulty is awful, in my opinion. It's absolutely repugnant. The way that it bolsters enemy units to be so much stronger than yours, that's the only way that they had. That's as much as their imagination carried them to make the challenge, and it's disappointing in the extreme, because it means to beat an enemy unit of spears in a proper melee engagement, you need like a mid-tier sword or a mid-tier like infantry unit, like a proper infantry unit, and it's just all wrong. Like, you have to ultimately end up cheesing in order to win on Legendary, and it just feels so artificial and lifeless to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching what Legend of Total War does, and the way that he plays the game, it's pretty much ideally suited for someone who does things in the way that he does. But for me, it's just, it feels so plastic, for lack of a better term. Right, so we are the ones attacking them today. What have we got on the field? We have got Snow Orc Raiders, Snow Orc Spears, and archers. So yeah, if we set up on this hill, I mean, their archers are going to do... I think they've got 2 units of archers, actually, which, to be honest, is probably not the worst thing in the world for us, because it means we can probably get away with engaging them in melee. So, actually, we'll probably go right up the gut with our shielded units, our Erebor infantry, and King Dane himself. I wonder if Dane has actually got a unique model. There's a Dalian general, the sort of scaled look almost to the Earls, right? And that must be Dane there. I don't know. I don't think that's a unique model, actually. I think that's just the general Dwarven King. Alright. I mean, their archers are better than ours, definitely. Even if they only had 1 archer, they would win the ranged fight, because ours don't have really anything in terms of armour. Defensively, our archers are very, very poor. Just remember to disable that guard. Oh yeah, good point. It's less of a crippling thing when we're talking about Dane, because he's a unit of spears, and we may very well end up having to... Right, so you can go over here like so, because we're going to be going around the side, I hope, with our Iron Hills Mattocks. I don't know whether the archers will want to go after the Mattocks or whether they'll want to go after Dane. I think actually among our units, their defence is quite poor. Yes, I mean, 7 armour's not terrible, considering it's an entry-level shock infantry unit, but archers will still do some damage to them. Exactly, Val. Yeah, that's my point. Like, you're free to play the game in certain ways in a game such as this. Wait, are they firing at us already? I think they might be. Okay, yeah, they are. So we'll get into... Right, so we'll move forward. I think we should be okay just because Dane is so strong, but... No. Early on. Early doors. Are they pulling back? Or are those Snow Orc scouts just continuing to do their thing? I thought they were going to move forward for a second then, but it looks like I'm going to be disappointed in that regard. If we can make it so they don't target our archers down, that is actually very good for us, because our archers are still capable of dishing out some good damage against the lightly armoured snow orcs. It's just that they can't take a beating at all anyway. What are they? Snow orc spears. The raiders are the best thing they have in melee, which is a problem when you're dealing with stuff like Sons of the Fallen. It's certainly a problem when you don't seem all that interested in... We could well be fighting uphill here, but yeah, just to... Oh. Get in there. They don't seem too interested in using their ranged advantage on me, which I am all too happy about. Okay, so they're going to try and probably target Dane, but like from the front, he is going to just take one hell of a beating. Actually, no, they're going after the Mattocks, aren't they? No, they're going after the Erebor infantry. Again, another bizarre choice. Right, yeah, get into them. Alright, around the flank. Yes, I should bloody well hope so. That they are not going to be enough to win that fight. Right, so we can, yeah, we can start firing at them.
If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
No, actually, we might need to. Those are the snow orc spears. Yeah, they're just going to start shooting at our mattocks, so we should probably be getting into a position to take a good advantage of that. We could probably do with getting a little bit closer with our arrow boys as well. I'm a little bit disappointed with how much damage Dane seems to be taking to extremely basic units, but can your Erebor units use shield wall? I think they can at that, yeah they can. I'm always a little bit concerned about bulldozing through units though, because it can be such a poison chalice to do that. Okay, yeah, Dane seems to be doing the business now. They're getting into melee with my Mattocks, which is absolutely ideal. But yeah, shoot at them. This is where you're going to be absolutely at your worst, but as long as you stop doing your idle animation and start firing, at the very least you will also take some good damage. Okay, yeah, get out of there. Leave at once. Fire at them. Dane is doing his thing. Dane is worryingly in the action, but with a bit of support we should be okay. And they don't seem to be too interested in firing at him at the very least. Right, please don't get friendly fire. Not on the king. This is more of a defensive action anyway. Yeah, just get in and amongst these scouts. I've seen Arthurdane footmen slaughter Fountain Guard. Well, yeah. Yeah, just shoot into them, I suppose.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Arthurdane footmen in this game are armor piercing though as well, aren't they? Which, you know, gives them a certain joie de vivre. Yeah, Dane, after the initial, maybe it's the charge of the Snow Orc Raiders, I don't know. Right, they are running for the hills. Spectacular scenes of fraudulence. They can just keep rolling forwards, I suppose. Where's their general then? Which one is their general? I didn't really pay much attention to that, but maybe I should have done. Is it this? I would assume it might be this. No, there's no orc captain in there. Oh, that might be him actually. This gentleman with the wicked-looking two-handed cleaver. The Mattocks continue to slowly pick their way through. They are the weakest Northern Dunedain unit, while the Fountain Guard is the best Gondorian. Well, I mean, do you mean the weakest, like, higher end unit? Because they're the Macemen, aren't they? The Arthurdane Footmen? Also, I mean, it's round pegs in round holes, to use an analogy. You're using the unit as they were intended to be used, so it makes sense, really. Okay, now we've got everything in melee. It should be just a matter of cleaning things up. We'll go over here with you, because I think we can probably get away with putting you onto the high ground, now that you can't actually have returning fire. And let's get Dane in there as well. Do we have... There we go. Increase the fatigue temporarily.
The enemy general lies
Right, that's probably
dead.
going to be the end of them, to be honest.
Let the crows have his miserable bones, and let our swords have his men.
They're probably not going to last too much longer in terms of the old morale. We're taking losses in every battle, though. I mean, Gundabad, like, they are an interesting faction. It would have been, like, they were the other option for us to play as. Right, yeah, we should be doing some good damage there. 3 missile damage is as much, as I said, as the Oricani Archer. The main difference, obviously, is the Oricani Archers don't wear basic peasant jerkins.
It is time to press the attack.
Go after them. Get out of... I don't think we're going to be able to chase down too many of them, to be honest with you, but you never know. You know what? Yeah, you get into them. Chasing units down without cavalry is going to be a massive problem for us because we're so slow. Just going to have to... Okay, yeah, that's going to be the end, isn't it?
This is a clear
Should be
victory.
enough to finish them off completely. Do the orcs have women in their family trees too? I think they do, although... Do they? Like, they're classed as Teutonic factions most of the time, aren't they? I don't think Isengard are. No, Isengard are, aren't they? Because there was the whole thing about Lurts constantly being passed over in the succession. I think the orcs work as Teutonics. I think that's how it works. Anyway. No, yeah. Okay, we finished them off completely.
Victory.
How far can we move? I think that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, so...
Aye, sire.
I don't like that army there. The Bolg's champions are not... They're no bueno.
Aye, noble sire.
I don't appreciate them being here. Can we... Are there any mercs? Nope. No mercenaries available for recruitment.
Aye, lord.
And I think as well, we're pretty much... Just one more turn until that. I think that's pretty much all we can do again, because we're already building something everywhere. And we cannot really build any more units, so yes it is. The early game. And, yep.
Awaiting your command.
So, what are you going to do? Actually, yeah, you can just make your way back up towards Erebor, to be honest.
Course, sir. I'll continue to Morris.
They put Lurtz as Saruman's son. I mean, technically, from a certain point of view. I'm real worried about these musical jingles. Ah, okay. Well, seeing as they're going to try and siege...
Courage, men. The enemy lays siege.
Yes, they do. Okay, Andros under attack. Right.
Aye, noble sire.
So, what's this?
Have a taste of my blade.
Snow Orc Spears. You...
Aye, sire. I'm gonna
2 units. It would probably be sufficient to put you in here. We don't want military build policy, we want growth build policy. And we don't want you to be doing anything at all. Get rid of that. We need miners' quarters. Ah yes, we have public order bonus, public health bonus even. Only the dwarves would get healthier by spending lengthy amounts of time in the mines. Where do we have armory? That would probably be real useful on the front line, to be honest. Focus on the mines as the dwarves. You need roads for the short-legged dwarves, that's true. But I mean, money is not so much a concern. We're making money. I think at this point, one problem we do have though is we need these armories so that when these little stacks of orcs come for us, we can actually defend ourselves. The smoking house, that's not really that important. That would be nice, but it's a lot of money. 5 turns as well is a long time. I'll tell you what, we'll decide on that after we battle, because
Aye, my liege.
I think we will just need to get on in there. Based on the battle map as well, based on the custom map, it was kind of like Dol Guldur with the downhill, so the AI will probably just retreat to the bottom of the hill, but if that's the case I can shoot them with my archers. Go after something like the Bolg's champions, that would be very nice. Still building a grain exchange there. Right, over here I think we should we finally do need to start actually getting some recruitment slots over here, so we'll go for a pipe hall. The ones in the mountains give you a lot of money. Yeah, I know. I know that the dwarven economy is based on the mines, but again, military and holding the line, like if I end up spending a bunch of money on mines and then it's not going to do me any good if the orcs take that settlement right back from me. In fact, it will do quite the opposite, because it will give the orcs the fruits of my labours. Right, let's go for it. So, yeah, no. Wait, yes, I want to command this army in battle, absolutely. I don't want any fraudulence here. Right. So, yeah, we'll save this. I mean, this should be a good win. Winning this should give us a little bit more breathing room, because even though they are orcs and they can churn out units fairly quickly. Let's go. And we got Dane and Gimli. Mines and roads are the best economic buildings for dwarves. Roads in general are going to be useful just to actually move from side to side as well. We might actually see Radagast the Brown, because is he not the diplomat for the Anduin Vale? Right. This isn't the battle map I was hoping for, to be honest with you, but no matter. So we should... Right, Gimli should be arriving from there, I think, so we may as well just group up. We'll wait and see on that one, I suppose. Again, this is going to be... Nope, completely the other side. Lovely. You love to see it. And he's... completely ridiculous.
Our enemies have snapped.
There's absolutely no way I'm giving the AI control of those armies, because they'll just charge in like headless chickens and get themselves slaughtered. The snow orcs are stronger than regular orcs. Yeah, noticeably so. Mordor's early tier units are terrible. Yeah, we're not... Look, can we stop with this fraudulence?
We'll rest here the night, sire.
If you use Gimli to sally out, you'll get the Berzakul map. Yeah, that's a good point. Would that they would change the UI in this game. Right, okay, then we will not do that. Right, so yeah, we'll leave him there, and then Gimli and the boys, you will sally out.
By your will, sire, we shall engage.
Oh, and they're not even... They're not even sending their reinforcing army forward this time. Okay, bizarre, but the intricacies of such things, right, you will not be doing that.
We attack!
I've let the AI control some of my armies before, but not in a part of the game that is so precarious early on, and certainly not with some of my most important generals. Right, they are a long way away. Right, I mean, this unit is going to be next to useless, so you can actually go over here with this tower. The other three of you, are you going to do as I say? There we go. I knew you had it in you. Ah, good. And they're going to come in from the rear, just as we needed them to. Right, we do need to get to the top of this little hillock before they arrive. You can actually charge downhill pretty quickly. You can do that, and you can go like so. So Erebor infantry are going to be getting onto the field among the first, which is nice. Go on, work those dwarven legs. Get up that hill. Yeah, they're going to get there first probably because they are much quicker than me. But oh well. Raiders and Bolg's champions, that's the unit that I am genuinely concerned about, because I really don't want to be getting into melee with them. In an ideal world, we will be using missiles on them. Specifically Gimli's, because I don't believe these units over here will do that well. Right, the cavalry certainly won't either unless we get a really nice charge. Dwarves are natural. Well, no, they have very limited capacities for movement speed. Right, yeah, we should be able to. Right, yeah, we get you into a position over here. Where are the Bolg's champions? There they are. A worrying unit, to be sure. We don't want Dane getting engaged by them, really.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
I think they are going after my general as well. Assassin style. Prevent them from doing so, please. We'll go up and around with you. Is it worth a charge? I mean, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered if this charge doesn't go off, and it is uphill. But, sod it, we'll give it a go. Why not? How is victory certain against the Erebor infantry? Like, I'm really disappointed with some of my entry-level units, I've got to be honest. These Gundabad units should not be doing as well as they actually are. Right, now you need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Victory seems a distinct possibility for basic snow orcs against proud dwarves. Seen it all now. The Matuks, on the other hand, should be getting slaughtered, and they are.
The enemy general lies dead.
That's good, though.
Weird
Weird that the enemy general...
And let our swords have his men.
It's very strange that the general was in the Snow Orc unit and not the unit of Bolg's champions, but can't complain too much about that.
If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Yeah, reform, would you? Snow Orc raiders are looking like routing. The Bolg's champions are not entirely sure what to do. This is a very nice situation for us. They're routing, actually, to the point where we should probably be looking at charging them down if we at all can. This is less than ideal, but with Gimli on the way forward, we should be able to to kill them off relatively quickly with our throwing axes. There we go. I think we actually let them slip, didn't we? Well, maybe we didn't. We'll see. We shall have to wait and see on that one.
The battle is very much in our favour. If we remain true and
Those throwing axes should do the business for us. God, those Sons of the Fallen are dropping like flies, though. This probably isn't helping. I would not be best impressed if Dane were to die here, to be honest with you. Right. Can we just charge on in there? Get the business done? Up close and personal like? Yeah, the efficiency of my units, the relative efficiency of my units has not been that good so far, I have to say. Again, that was a disappointing charge. Uphill, but there we go. This should be the end. They're starting to panic a little bit now, which is good. Shield wall and break their formation. They didn't really have such a formation, really. They were like burrowing into my own unit and still doing damage. I mean, I get it. This is pretty much the strongest unit of Gundabad infantry. But where do they even get them from? There's no way they should be able to recruit them right from the start. That's a late game unit. I know I can recruit Axguard of Erebor, but is that the situation? Can they occasionally recruit one of those units from Mount Gundabad? That's a little bit more understandable. Yeah, victory. Probably leave a couple of units here from Dane's army and then start heading back down to the village. Campaign has definitely taken its... The tone has been set for our war with Gundabad, though. I mean, I like the fact that Gundabad are able to put up a fight, at least, and that we're not just rolling through them unopposed. That would have been a little bit more unfortunate. I think it's a stack-spawned unit that comes with the expansion script. That's fair enough, then. No, we're definitely not letting them have them back, then. Right, good tidings. That might be why this region is so unhappy, because of the devastation it's suffering. Right, can we... Man, some of these units are real depleted. Okay. Well... We'll actually leave you here for the moment. Because... I know what the AI will do. If I put 2 of the units into Ornazanar and then pull back with Dane, they'll just circumvent the fort and go after Dane. I know what they are like. They can't fool me. I think possibly this is actually a worthwhile purchase as well, because we just need some units and speed is of the essence. And I think that's pretty much everything we can do. Ornazanar, we can actually build another unit here, which we should do. And I think what we should do... Yeah, we'll go for some cost reduction buildings first and foremost. In both provinces. I like this idea. Because even if we were to build an armory, it's not going to be in time for any of the recent stacks anyway. They have one at the start and can recruit another one after some turns. The Clan Hall is good. We'll go for the building reduction first, because it's it's reasonably cheap and quick. And in a couple of turns we'll be able to start forming up an army with Thorin, and we can start heading eastward. Hopefully. Oh yes, something that we could do as well is insult the goblins.
Yes, sire.
Oh no, we can't, because this is a neutral city, isn't it? I'm a fool.
You are mistaken.
They haven't taken this area yet.
Aye, sire.
Wait, they don't have any holdings on this side of the Misty Mountains, do they? Well, that's a pain. Because this side of the Misty Mountains is KHAZAD. Well, isn't that an annoyance? No free military unit for us. Probably not anyway, we can try it, but somehow I doubt it. I doubt we shall arrive in time. Goblin Town is held by Moria from the expansion script. That's a neutral town, Val. It said so. A neutral citadel. Osgiliath under attack. Thorin Oakenshield? No, it's not Jacob. He does have Orcrist and the Oakenshield, but those are more Easter eggs. It's Thorin's son, or no, not Thorin. Dane's son in the lore was named after Thorin, I believe. It was Goblin Large City neutral. Was it? Am I just a fool? Is that it? Maybe I am. You there. Wow. Yeah, I guess it is. I'm a fool, as it turns out. What else is new? What are you doing? You... That's actually less scary, because without Bolg's champions, they are... nothing before us, really. Right, you go over this way.
On my way.
Keep a... Ah, hello. Captain Snaga. Some Dale Cavalry, 1 turn for you. Ah, yes, we can build another building here, which we definitely want to do. We're making money, we just can't really spend it anywhere yet. So perhaps what we should do... That would be quite nice, I have to say. Some Erebor axe throwers. It's a cheap building. Artillery would also be really good. Ooh, Oricani Clan Hall, though. Gives us access to 2 kinds of units, that, which... Yeah, we'll go with that then. We shall go with that. Some archers and some spears. Right, for you...
Leading the men with honor, sire.
We shall... Yeah, we want the same map again, to be honest. We want... We want to be sallying out. Yeah, we're not letting you... not letting you do that. This is a good money maker for us, to be fair. It's probably why we're making so much money, because we're just squashing orc stacks as they come before us. Yeah, I like the idea of having the Oricani archers, actually, the more I think about it, because they will be useful, and we can send them to skirmish with snow orc archers, and they won't wither in quite the same manner. Oh, we don't have the custom map. That's a shame. And the dog. Someone must have come back home. If the dog's barking. Right, we do need to be a little bit careful. Ooh, marvellous. You can go up there, actually. If they're going to try and make for the high ground, we can endeavour to stop them. They're a long way off, our Danes' forces, but oh well. We might be fine without them, especially if they like dive for the high ground. They don't actually have any archers, but oh no, they do. They have 1 unit of archers. I was going to say, if they don't have archers, we can just take our time with it. But they do, unfortunately for us. But if we can get a nice downhill charge, we might be able to convince them to turn around and actually face us, which would be really nice. That should be enough of a run-up. I've been wrong before. Cavalry has not treated me well in Divide and Conquer. Yes, surely you have enough now. Surely. The speed. There we go. There's the lances down. A nice downhill charge. And now we shall leave. Leave melee.
The battle is very much in our favour.
So I hope.
Remain true and steadfast. Victory will be ours.
Do you live in those apartment for students or with your family? For the moment, family, Val. Which is for the best, certainly, because of the lockdown stuff. Still, here we go. Nice downhill charge there. Point blank volley. There we go. That's what I like to see. Nice downhill charge into the raiders. Even basic cavalry has its place here. Yeah, some nice point blank axe volleys as well.
The battle is very much in our favour.
Yeah, can we leave melee?
Steadfast, victory will be ours.
We might lose that Erebor infantry, but like we lost them in their entirety once before, so not too surprising. Yeah, there's this whole thing going on at the moment where like people may like be like stuck in their student accommodation, so I'm very glad that I'm not involved with that, to be honest. That's a little bit unfortunate. The cavalry, because of a stretched out unit, no longer in an ideal position. We have more units on the way, slowly but surely. Right, you get into them. It's not a brilliant charge, this one. Probably not going to get your lances down, are you? You might do. Oh no, you did. Sent a few of those orcs flying. Good. You're doing your thing. A worthy partnership. Actually, you know what? That's probably not a bad target to charge into either. Victory against Gimli? Come on. Behave yourselves. Probably victory against the Erebor infantry, really, isn't it?
They have lost half their men.
They are shaken, but we need to get our cavalry boys out of here pretty fast. Gallo is just terrible with cav. He forgets them and allows pikemen to sneak up on his cavalry. I mean, we've all been there. I'm not brilliant with cavalry either, but problem if we ever, when we get round to Rohan, I should say, or Canned. With Canned, it's so important as well because of how much of a struggle it can be early on for you. Right, come on, a nice charge here. There's a rock in the way, which is a bit of a problem. There we go. Again, nice stuff. Really good stuff, actually. Nice charge. Slowly but surely we're losing this unit of cavalry, but yeah, you just shoot into them. Yeah, Gimli's not taking any losses, as you would expect, because Snow Orc Spears really shouldn't be dealing an awful lot of damage to Axgard. So I'm glad to see that that is in fact the case.
The battle is very
mechanically in getting them to charge. Oh, I see.
Victory will be ours.
I do appreciate, the more that I played it, I do appreciate the fact that cavalry is kind of clunky to use in Divide and Conquer, because it means you can't, if you had the charging capabilities of, that's their general, isn't it? It is.
The enemy general lies dead.
If it had the charging capabilities of like the knights in Reforged, it would be really easy, which is one of the problems if you were to play as Rohan in like Reforged with their mechanics. It would be right, Dane is probably, yeah, he's winded. There's no need to be concerned. As soon as we start getting more axe throwers out into the field, we should be in a much healthier spot. Kill off those raiders if you please. Some Oricani wouldn't go amiss either. More for their archers than their spears. We should be able to break them with that, surely. Just going to leave them in melee for just a second. Yeah, there they go. Marvellous. You are out of ammo, so actually you can move backwards, because you're going to achieve precisely nothing. With their general dead. Yeah, Gimli has sustained literally 2 losses in melee with the basic spears, which is much more like it. Hello, Manus. Just wait until you play with the Swan Knights and the Arthedain Guard. Yeah, I know what the Swan Knights are like purely because we fought them as the Ara Denaim, and even when using them in an utterly abysmal fashion, the AI still was a nightmare to deal with them. Right, okay, now you can go after them, and Gimli, and there we go. Just give a bit more fatigue because everyone's probably fairly exhausted at this juncture. Imrahil has a shout of being probably the most useful early game general as well, just because of how strong cavalry generals can be. That it might be Karmul as well though. It's more because of the amount they have in their unit, and I think you'd probably give it to Glorfindel overall, but Glorfindel isn't like there from turn 1. Even though you get him at like turn 10, don't you? So I guess it's kind of a
Look
moot
how
point.
our cowardly foe runs. It is time to press the attack.
Yeah, go after them. Good opportunity to get some chevrons on our cav. I don't know how many of them will actually... Oh, come on, pathfinding, please. It's going to do me dirty, isn't it? It's going to let these snow orcs spears escape because of that. Oh well. The whole army should be destroyed anyway. But you can never be too careful. Erebor and Dale. Best of friends. Come on, kill them all off. Times 6 speed is usually when the cavalry does this best. It's because the unit's scattered, isn't it? Another one of the most annoying intricacies of this. Actually, you go after them. How did you miss that? There he goes. Now, finish them off. You don't get Glorfindel at turn 10, you get him when you get 15 settlements or when Angmar is down to 2. Oh, that's quite a long way in then.
This is a clear victory.
Theoden as well. Theoden as the faction leader should have a bigger retinue, right? But like Theoden is you can't use him at the start because he's like cursed. So you have to use Theodred and Eomer. But yeah, there's a lot of good cavalry generals. I think especially for Dol Guldur though, because Khamul gives you such a useful tool against Lorien. One charge and the amount of value you can get off against like light elven units in particular is massive. I suppose you are at risk. Like even then though, like the benefit of Khamul is he'll respawn. So even if he does get hit by like a stray arrow from Haldir or Celeborn's unit, which is enough to kill him, it's not the end of the world really. Be a pain. It would delay you certainly. Right, yeah, we'll kill them off.
A proud victory.
Yes, marvellous.
My king.
Yeah, so you can go in there,
Forward.
as can
Aye,
you,
sire.
which this should be a decent
Leading the
enough
army.
force. That's yeah,
Aye, Lord.
we're gonna combine those because there's
Honor, my lord.
really no point in doing otherwise. You can go there.
Your name, sire. Making camp here, good son.
One more turn until Dale Cav. A few more turns until we can recruit that. Okay. So that should be enough to hold on to Ornazanar for now, I think. I would hope. Pipe Ball, so we can start recruiting stuff over there.
Yes, my king.
You already moved, didn't you? So yeah, we'll get a free unit from them next turn. It'll probably be another unit of Northmen archers, to be honest, which is decidedly average. Khamul's Shadow Knights are still not as strong as Imrahil's Swan Guard, which can solo entire stacks by himself. Yeah, it's more just because of like the respawning and how relatively useful it is against someone like Lorien. Do you know when there'll be a new patch for Reforged? No, I don't, Morris, to be honest. It's slowed down a little bit, I think, development on Reforged for various reasons, but such is the way of things. Okay, that'll be that for now. Be nice to have a diplomat up here as well to extend our tentative friendships into full-blown alliances later. Gundabad. I do like Gundabad's style in Divide and Conquer though. I like the fact that they've like got all this like quite neat lore to them. Right, Dane, you go in there. Ornazanar is here.
At your service.
Are they going to send another stack of
Me, sire.
utter
Moving
trash my way? There's a lot of small armies here. I do wonder what's happening up here though. It could be that Gundabad start getting distracted, which would be ideal to be honest, because it allows me to fortify our front line here and to start creeping eastward. Speaking of which, we can actually recruit units now. Roads we definitely want. And as far as recruitment goes, we'll go for both units here so we can start building up a force with Thorin.
Orders.
You can move
Onward.
forwards.
We've marched our limit.
Nothing for you. or Nazanar. Again, roads probably for the best, because again our provinces are long, so it makes sense to use roads just for moving our units as well as anything else. Have you ever played the 4th Age Total War? I haven't. I've seen J-Monster play that. That's the Rome 1 mod, isn't it? I haven't played it myself, no. I saw J-Monster's campaign for the Reunited Kingdom, though. Garrison quarters. Public order bonus. Nice to have public order bonuses from military production buildings. This is a largely dwarven settlement already as well, so actually I think we will go for that, because it means we can actually start producing some of our regular units on the front line, and we will do the same if it's true here as well. Yeah, miners' quarters, don't need that so much. Town guard, Erebor infantry, and Iron Hills mattocks. Can we get a practice range actually? We'll go for town guard as well. Start building up some military infrastructure, because this is going to be our front line for a little bit, I think. I don't intend to push massively into Gundabad just yet, unless they start pressurising me with some like actually fairly damaging stacks, in which case I will push back in response. But yeah, and that I think is everything once again, because we can't recruit any more units in Erebor, and we can't recruit any units here because we don't have any recruitment facilities yet. Ah yes, but before we move on,
Is there something I can do for you?
our relations are poor, so how about you give me Goblin Town? They've taken Tyrd Huin. That's one of the Northern Dunedain's villages, isn't it? And they've got Ostinathiel, although I think they start with that, don't they? How about you give me a Goblin Town, and I will give you one of the finest gold.
You must think us meat or foolish to suggest something more about this meeting was quite useless.
Is that not sufficient?
That's not possible, sire.
Is that not sufficient to get the... Or does it actually expect me to try and make friends with the goblins? Come on now. Oh well, that's lovely, isn't it? We'll just have to go back down there next turn. Oh well. We don't necessarily need an extra military unit anyway. It would be nice. It would keep everything locked down quite nicely on the front line. Need to retrain those mattocks. I think you need to get trade rights. Well, we're not going to do that then, because we're playing this... Like, we don't want to be breaking the law, and there's no way would the dwarves entertain breaking bread with the goblins. Right, so both of our archer units are up here. Not a huge melee contingent up here, but hopefully we can change that promptly. Can we move our spy? No, that's a good place for our spy to be actually, because we can see both sides of Dane's Halls with that. It's very gamey that though, Val. I don't really like doing stuff like that if I can help it. I think we'll just ignore that mission. Now then, the only time we might see Erebor as a custom battle map is if Mordor calls a crusade on us. Going this way as well is good because there's quite a lot of custom settlements in the hills. Or Nazanar we've already seen, which I didn't even know that was one, but pretty sure Dane's Halls is. I know Mount Gundabad is. I know that that one is. There's Litash and Carn Dûm and Mount Graham if we get to Angmar. There's Goblin Town. There's a lot of stuff over here. There's less in the east. If we go for Rune, it'll be more sort of general settlements that we must deal with. Ballista-maker is quite tempting, I must say, although it's a bit of a moot point because we're building roads. Orkani, still waiting. You in there.
March.
It is... Yeah, there's some units on the way now. Yeah, Orc Hunters and Orc Fighters, which is usually a sign that they're just trying to vomit units out as quickly as they possibly can. Maybe it'd be worthwhile to get our other unit of Cav up there as well, because it doesn't... We've got much more of an early warning about what they're going to do over here. Captain Snugger. Is there anything down here that would be useful? Up there. We'll just leave it for now, because we can probably make it in one turn with this Cav, can't we? Well, we're not getting free upkeep actually, so we'll just go between the two, I suppose. And send that Cav to wherever it is needed. Elsewhere. Right. Yeah, so we've already got the Valesmen. I guess we do go up round this way and maybe try and speak to the Northern Dunedain. Framsburg. Be interesting to see how the Anduin Vale do. Okay. We might actually want to start sending some of the units that we try. If we can get our basic units on the front line over here, we probably want to start sending our basic units from Erebor over here so we can actually start expanding into the rebel regions in the east. I'm used to having just a sprawling territory, like a big mess of a territory from the Ardanaim, so it's a little bit refreshing actually to have a realm that I can actually manage. We could also, as soon as we've got like a decent enough power base and people are more likely to say yes to alliances, the first people we probably want to get on side are Mirkwood, because I really don't want Dale doing what they did in the last campaign. Mission failed? Ah, good. Right, we can actually get a useful mission now. Mordor, Gondor, Rune. That's interesting. Financially strong. I would hope they're financially strong. They need to pay for their golden armour somehow.
Continue to moor and sail.
Okay, so not an awful lot going on there. Right, I think we should be able to build some units. We can build a unit. One turn until the Oricani Clan Hall. Well, we'll do that. We just need some basic stuff on the front after all. Can't build anything there just yet, but we'll have 2 turns until the town guard is here. Right, I think if we go this way, we should probably run into some stacks, shouldn't we? Yeah, there is a stack. Snow Orc Scouts, and then a lot of fighters and hunters, which are really poor. But a unit of cavalry would not go amiss in riding them all down. Gimli should be enough to mow his way through all of that in melee on his own, so hopefully we can get some good efficiency there. And again, having such a small realm to manage. Kirit Gathol is going to be a little while before those roads are completed, which is fine by me. You have already moved, and the other guy, you're almost home. We can use you as a sort of mobile watchtower as well, actually, which will be, I think, quite handy. Right then. One thing that I've sort of gotten a bit wrong in the early game of the other 2 campaigns is being a little bit too gung-ho in a couple of instances. Certainly in the Lorien one, I think, based on what I did for, or tried to do for Rohan. But even in the Ardanaim, I got myself into some rather sticky situations that could have been avoided. Ithilien is attacked. I mean, they only just took that back, but no matter. Relations improved with the Woodland Realm, as you would hope. Relations worsened with the Goblins of Moor. Only so-so. You know, apparently the Goblins are a bit like, well, I mean, maybe. But no, we won't be entertaining any of that nonsense. Right, Oricani Clan Hall. So now we should be able to get some like proper archers on the go. That's the great hope anyway. Okay, yeah, that's the healing building. The clue was in the name all along. Let's see. I mean, that would be real nice. But I also think this would probably be really, really good. That's really cheap as well, so we'll go with that. Get some basic axe throwers on the go. And we can get some Stonefoots and some Stiffbeards. I like the fact that the Oricani have got their own distinct style as well. They do actually stand out from the regular Erebor units. You get Oricani as... The Oricani dwarves make up the stacks of the blue wizards for the can script, don't they? That you either fight or you get to control. Which is pretty cool. Something to bear in mind. There's Litash. Angmar. Probably a later game foe for us, should they still be alive, depending on what Ered Luin decide is the path for them. So 10 more turns until we can recruit more of them. Blimey.
Aye, sire.
Right, we'll send you forward.
Onward. We've marched our limit.
And we're still just waiting on everything else. Still just a slow burn. But we have set ourselves up decently, I think. What is this army going to do, I wonder? Well, we can see it now, so there's no need for this spy to be over here. Okay. This is a little bit of a light garrison, to be honest, but only 3 units. It's effectively 3 of our units against 3 of theirs, and 1 of ours is Dane, so not worried at all. And we've got some reinforcements that can go wherever we need them to be. Okay. Yeah, the stiff-beard archers will be very nice. I might send the spears over the other way, actually, so we can start building up a force for Thorin. So we can start expanding eastward as well. Want to be a little bit careful about that. They're going to siege? Yeah, I thought they'd do that. Hopefully they actually assault.
The enemy lay siege, but we will stand proud.
Athelion lost, so Gondor, for one brief moment, were doing their thing, and now they're getting turned back. In terms of all of the various no crossbows, we do get a unit of crossbows, but they are tier 3. They're one of the 2 tier 3 Oricani units that we get, and they are the Blacklock Engineers. I think the highest tier Ered Luin crossbow is slightly better, but in effect, like, it is one of the 3 standout crossbow units in the game, but we'll only get it very late on. Mostly our ranged units consist of axe throwers. So yeah, Athelion is lost. Probably the Osgiliath is under attack. Yeah. Overall, if Gondor don't really start hammering Mordor quickly, which is incredibly rare, Gondor's demise is inevitable. No matter what way you spin it. Captain Radmaz. That's a... More Bolgs champions? Are we? Is this how we're doing things? Is it? Maybe we do need more reinforcements over here, with all haste. Okay, yeah. With that news, actually, I'm going to start building an armory in both territories, and we should. Yes, we can. We can build units immediately, which we shall do. All too happily. Mattocks and infantry. Right, spears. I feel... Okay. Yeah, we'll go out this way with the spears, because we're going to send the archers this way anyway. And we can also start building some more mattocks if we please, but we'll hold off on that for just a second, because we don't want to go running ourselves into the ground economy-wise without good reason to do so. Right, oh yeah, I forgot one thing. We need to keep heading towards lands of the Dunedain. So the nearest Dunedain territory will probably be around here. Would it be Fornost? Probably don't have to go all the way down to Fenest Ruinin, but you never know. Right. You can head this way. We'll be using you like a watchtower. You're no spy at doing that, but for the time being we don't have any other use for you. Yeah, we've already dealt with that. Already dealt with those. Okay. It'd be nice to have like a fairly sizable siege of Ornazanar. Should be a fairly nice settlement to defend. I mean, it would be perhaps a bit nicer if I had more infantry, but Do the Dwarves of Erebor have good relations with Elrond lore-wise? Well, I mean, they agreed to come to the summit in the movie when the ring was presented. Hello, Lord Elisar. I imagine it's just sort of as good as relations between dwarves and elves in the Third Age can be. There's no sort of diplomatic relations with Angmar? Why? Why not the Dunedain? No, we're not doing it.
Lord? Of course, sir.
That's a pretty big Angmar force they've got in there. Right.
My lord.
What is this? Snow Orc diplomat?
Aye, sire.
Be gone with you.
I'll continue tomorrow, sire.
Right, they should attack at some stage, you would hope. Right, we've got units on the go. Right, so we can't recruit anything else in there for a little while now, but
Awaiting your command.
we don't really need to. Stiff-beard archers will move forward.
We march no further today.
Dane's army could do with some
My king.
stiff-beards, to be honest.
Onward. Aye. Forward.
Keep going this way.
Aye.
And you will join up with Thorin. Give him some spears. Be much more useful to have spears. Elrond did help Thorin in his quest, and I believe Gloin went to Imladris to seek advice, and it was just a coincidence they were there at that time. Oh, well, that's a strange coincidence. Ooh, Northman archers. They're very cheap, so we may as well. To be honest, yeah, Mattocks as well. We just need units. We've got the economy to support it at this point. Especially if we build another economy building in Erebor next. I'd really like them to assault Ornazanar. We shall wait and see if they deign to play ball with us. Dalian diplomat. I don't know who he intends to do diplomacy with up in the frozen wastes. Yeah, we'll probably start winding this part down in the next half hour or so, hopefully. Ah, good. Marvellous. Just what I was hoping for. A nice defensive battle. Albeit we have quite a lot of cavalry. But yes, we shall be fighting this one.
Glory, we attack.
Gimli himself doing bits. Even Legolas was only there to report of Gollum's escape from captivity, and Boromir was seeking advice on his dreams. Is that in the book? Because in the the movie, get my words out, wasn't it a case of Denethor being like, yo, I know the ring's going to be found soon. Get yourself over there and secure it for me. Right, so we can fire from both sides there. Gimli. Where shall we put Gimli? A fair question. Okay, tell you what we'll do. We'll put you there like so. You we'll put like this. Wait a minute. So they're going to try and go over on... Yeah, they're going to go for both sides. So, and we will choose the target. You can go here like this. And you can get ready to... Because the ladder is there, so we don't want to... Yeah, it's the explanation given in the book, and the movie was rushed because there was not enough time. That's fair enough. Right, you are going to need to get out of the settlement quickly, and hopefully we can do a bit of disruption. These are ballista towers, so I'm eternally grateful that we weren't on the receiving end of that during our capturing of this place. Oof. Incredible scenes. Actually, you go that way, and you can go this way as well, because, to be honest, what we're going to do is just hammer these boys with our archers. Orc hunters. Actually, no. Yeah, you go out this way. Ballista towers, the bane of everyone's existence. Orc fighters charging forward. They're actually just leaving the ram there, probably because the The gate is open. Don't do that. Not this pathfinding, Medieval 2. Don't do it to me now. Oh, it's an actual joke. Medieval 2. Massive levels of fraudulence committed by the... It really pisses me off. It really does. Jokes of the highest order.
The walls are no longer ours. The enemy have taken them.
This is definitely going to be a reload if this goes horribly wrong, because I'm not having that. Pathfinding is not going to be the cause of my downfall. Hilarious levels of incompetence from the game engine.
The enemy have ladders at the walls. Repel the attackers. Give them steel. The battle is very much in our favour. If we remain true and steadfast,
we're still going to be fine,
victory
really,
will
but...
be ours.
Throwing axes, I mean, we should be fine. It's not going to be as efficient as it otherwise would have been. I hate that pathfinding. It's so bad. All of that praising of the cavalry, all for nothing. In fact, you know what? Yeah, I'm not having this. I'm not happy about that. We would win, but it would not be. It would be costly, and that completely cripples us in the north. So ridiculous. I mean, it might not even be the sort of thing I can blame on Medieval 2's pathfinding, actually. Usually custom settlements like this have got horrendous pathfinding issues. I don't like reloading, though. It's just such a buzzkill. But when you're early in the campaign, it can spiral out of control if it was a decision that I had made, fair enough. I'd roll with it, just like in Lothlorien. But not when it's the game just saying, you know what, I'm going to just completely drop the ball for you. Hope you don't mind. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? And this time I expect a certain level of competency. Perhaps foolishly. No, you know what? You can just fire at will, to be honest. Right, okay. This time, you know what? You're actually going to go as close to the gate as you possibly can, so you've got as much time as possible to get over your own fraudulence. There we go. See, it wasn't that hard after all. All you had to do was move in a straight line. It's not too much to ask, I don't think. You, actually, I think we can probably get away with putting you off of firing. Their ladders broken? Or have they just dropped them? Cheers, Calvin. Good to have you around as always. It's very kind of you. Hopefully the campaign is entertaining as it progresses. I kind of hope Ered Luin turn evil actually on that note, because I think it would be pretty cool. Right, we'll move you over to here now, I think. We're doing way more damage with our ballista towers now. There we go, nice charge. They haven't done any damage at all to the gate so far. I mean, if I can interrupt the ram, that would be really nice. There we go. The benefit of only fighting off against orc fighters. Can we get into a slightly better position? Probably not, actually. Yeah, go after the orc hunters instead. There we go. Not exactly the Rohirrim, but the Dalians and the Rohirrim do have some common ancestry, don't they? Because they both ultimately stem from the Northmen. Go after them. Are they going to go back on the ram? They are. I think at this point, though, it'll probably be... that should be the end of them completely. You love to see it. Yeah. We'll allow the ballista... No, 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 don't... Not just one of you. All of you need to go, not just the banner carrier.
The enemy are battering down the gates.
Nice. Now get out of there before you get sandwiched. Actually, with this news, I think it'd probably be a good idea if we got you guys down. You guys also get down off the wall. They are distant cousins. The Anduin boys are closer. Yeah, the because that's where the Aothead came from, wasn't it? There was that recent fan film on YouTube, The Horn of Gondor. I'm sure that most people have seen it because the thumbnail's quite distinctive. But that was all about like the initial thing. I mean, it's obviously quite, you know, it's a fan-made thing, so there are limitations to it, but it was quite neat to see, actually. I think they captured the spirit of it really well, considering the resources that they clearly had at their disposal. Good evening, the Enclavist. You can actually just charge into those orc fighters. I think at this point, actually, we're probably... one more hit and that would be enough to lay the gates low. I don't like having to use the archers for melee, but we may not have a choice there. A bit more damage done to those orc fighters. Go after the hunters. They're going to remount the ram, I think. They're making a bit of a meal of this, though, the orcs, which I'm glad for. Hello, Freddy. The names as well, like, it was definitely an Eastern European group that did it based on the credits and the names at the end. Like, the names had a Polish vibe to them.
My lord, the enemy are battering down the gates.
Whoever that group was, though, fair play to them, because they did I think they did a really good job. Really good job.
Ram is through our gates.
You can tell that they paid special attention to the use of the sword in that, certainly. Right, yeah, they're going to all go in now, aren't they? It's going to be a...
The enemy have the walls. Look to our defence or all is lost.
Yeah, just get down off the walls, I guess. Axes thrown in. Don't like Northmen archers being in melee, but it is against the trashiest of the trash. Hello, Darth Cyclone. Yeah, Gimli's going to clean up for kills here. You would hope. Right, is there anything we can charge into reliably? I don't think that'll be enough room actually to get up to a decent charge speed, but we'll see. Yeah, it's not really. Just bumping into them.
Half the enemy force remains.
This will be a good win though. Like, this is like, it may be mostly made of trash, but it is still a numerous Gundabad army. But also now that we can recruit men on site in these two frontline settlements, we should be able to hold on to them much more easily. It's not going to be enough to get up to a decent charge either. Right, Gimli's out of ammunition now, so time for you to get down there. I don't know what you lot are doing. Yeah, there is a few pathfinding issues in this settlement, which is a bit weird considering it's a bit... Yeah, Dalian cavalry definitely earning its keep here in my army, which is nice. It's pretty much the only cavalry we have access to throughout the entire campaign, so we might as well get used to them. Will you fight Rune or turn them against Mordor? Probably fight them, Freddy. That'll be sort of a... Gundabad will be our first port of call, so Rune won't be for the time being. Rune may actually be a challenge later on, because they do have some good AP in their flag rim. They have access to pikes as well, and for reasons that I will mention a little later on, phalanx units are not our forte, because the one phalanx unit we have is a halberdier that's bugged, I think, because I think the damage values for it are really very low. Lower than they should be. So stuff like the Gamp Rim could prove to be a bit of something we don't really have at our disposal. That's a nice charge. Sandwich them. Come on, break them. They'll break. No worries at all. Right. Actually, there's no point, is there? No need to worry. Can we pull you off the front line, actually? No, not you. Jesus. The archers. Yeah, the Erebor infantry can get onto the front line. And they are getting chased, which is excellent. Not a single orc will be permitted to leave. They used to be pikes, which is why their damage is low. Ah, right, so they forgot to change the base damage modifier.
Runs. It is time to press the attack.
Yeah, but for especially for Dak, because the halberdier animation is slightly different. It's the original halberdier animation, I think. Yeah, we can't really afford to build a unit like that. It's just not efficient enough. You need the damage on halberdiers in Dak for them to be worth it. And yeah, it's a shame, but like, maybe we'll build them in a pinch, but we can't expect them to be efficient at all. So we'll have to use stuff like our axe throwers to devastating effect. And hope that that will be sufficient. After them, what's that? No, go after that one orc fighter, actually. Yeah, there we go. We didn't actually kill their captain just yet, so this will be gratifying. I edited them myself to about 6 melee damage, which seems fair for the cost. Yeah, because they're not like a super high tier unit, they're like a sort of standard mid-tier heavy dwarven foot slogger.
The enemy are utterly vanquished.
There we go.
This is a great victory, worthy of only the mightiest of generals.
Cavalry doing the business there, which is nice to see. Northman archers doing decently as well. Casualties healed, all of them on the Dalian cavalry, which I like actually. Like, we lost a few Northman archers, but there is naught that can be done about that. By the time we get down to Mordor, should that be the way the campaign ends, Sauron will probably have been awakened again, unless we actually stumble upon the ring. It would be nice to do that script at some point, but it's never really convenient to send a whole army across the map to a settlement that has the ring in it. Flag rim is kind of great against the dwarves. Well, you'd expect that, Llama Boy. Like, armor-piercing mace man and axes are what you want against the dwarves, but obviously axe to axe, no one beats the dwarves, really.
Glory and honor.
It's really the area where Erebor may have the outright advantage over someone like the High Elves in their big, heavy axe and hammer boys. Yeah, I might do that, Val. I may very well do that. I think 6 is probably about right as well. Relations improved with Dorwinian. My friends. Right. So we're building you, which now that you're not under siege, you will be able to do without issue. Actually, we can we retrain? We can't. Can we retrain? What have we got in this settlement that we could retrain for Dane? Oh, it's the damage, isn't it? Well, I mean, you know what? Damage, not the worst idea. We'll retrain Dane and get him some extra damage. Like I said, I think Dane actually is the one more in need of archers, to be honest with you, and we're already training up men, so yeah, you get in there. So that we actually have a unit of archers, instead of just nothing like we have at the moment. Iron Hills Mattocks, you can start going over here actually.
Forward, my king.
Spears.
Move out.
We're still waiting on the roads to be completed. As soon as we have like another round of recruitment from Kirit Gathol and we have some more units over there, we'll start expanding out eastwards. Should probably go for a spy as well. Their defense stats are kind of bad. They have more of them though, surely. The Easterlings can outproduce us as the dwarves. Bad against lower armor troops. Well, lower armor troops are not really what we specialise in as the dwarves. We don't really do low armor here. We need as much metal attached to us as possible before going out onto the field. Right, can we actually... We still can't buy anything. I mean, maybe we could buy an alliance with Mirkwood, just so that Thranduil doesn't, you know, gets a little bit picky about his alliances, does Thranduil. Apparently. Anyway. Oh yeah, that's Fornos, isn't it? Yeah, that is Fornos. Dead Man's Dyke. Right. We're heading towards Ostsul, actually, aren't we? There's Mengelen. You can see all the barrows. Ostsul is somewhere around here, isn't it? Well, anyway, we'll just keep heading south. We'll run into the Dunedain eventually, and then the High Elves. Okay. I think that's everything we can do again, isn't it? A remarkably simple process so far. We might do a perfect 20 turns. I think we will. After this, we could actually get away with just turning Erebor into an economy hub for the time being. How will you deal with Gundabad's good pikes with axe throwers, Freddy? We've already run into a unit of Bolg's champions, and they are really the thing of nightmares for the dwarves of Erebor in melee. They have everything you need: armor piercing, a phalanx, so they can keep you further away from them. You know what? Yes, because at this point I just want to spend my money on something that's at least somewhat useful. So we have an axesmith's guild now. Right, we're still building something there. Building an armory, at which point this will be we will be in a really good spot.
Aye, Lord.
Still can't quite get to Kirit Gathol.
Forward, aye, sire. Onward.
I do wonder if Dane has access to night attacks, but that's something we'll deal with at a later date. You can start heading up this way.
Forward. That'll
Right.
do 'em today, sire.
Erebor, what shall we build for you? Increase in tradable goods. I mean, that's probably more useful actually. It's so cheap and we're already trading reasonably with a lot of people. Dwarven labourers. There's actually building income for that as well. Yeah, we'll go for the armour upgrade. If we get income for making armour, crazy. Crazy scenes. So cheap as well. Right. I mean, if anything, Ornazanar we will keep as a defensive position, and we'll probably march down here because we're already building up actually a very satisfactory force down here. And we'll have an armory as well as a backboard just in case we do need to move backwards. And we're not exactly getting a ton of free upkeep at this point, but we don't really need it. Ah, good. Erebor axe throwers. Get them on the menu. And one more turn until Kirit Gathol's roads are done.
My king.
Is there anything up here? Orc stack wise, there isn't actually.
Moving quietly.
Hmm. Intriguing. Right, so that's Morvatarth is somewhere over here. Kameth Bryn I think is actually a High Elven territory. I'm just trying to figure out where the closest Dunedain settlement would be. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Right, let's move forwards. That is an army that's got a lot of fighters and hunters in it. I don't know exactly what... I mean, maybe Gundabad are panicking a bit. Maybe Anduin are pushing in on them, which is a little bit concerning. Maybe it's a good idea to build up a big treasury so that we can buy Gundabad off Anduin when they inevitably swipe it out from under us. Construction complete. Yeah, we've already dealt with that. And okay, so yeah, we've actually got some infantry up with Gimli now as well, which is nice. How much will you push Gundabad? Well, I was thinking about actually holding back on them and being slow, but I mean, at this rate, I actually feel like taking the fight to them now. The problem is, though, they will get a Doom stack at some stage, which will include a fair amount of their post-barracks events units, so we need to be a little bit careful. Like, if we just charge on in, we'll end up giving them a stack that has all sorts of stuff like Paleorux and Bolg's Champions, Orc Avengers, Guild Improvement in Orzazanar, Durin's Forge Hall. Sure, why not? Imladris is besieged. They never lose Imladris to the goblins. Filth that the goblins are. We can't actually retrain Gimli, which is sad times, sad scenes. Right, what do we want this unit to do? We'll get him in here because we're going to start pushing forward, I think, with this army first and foremost. It's probably a place actually where the pig farm may actually come in super handy, because we need this place to grow, to be honest. Yeah, we'll go for a pig farm. Dwarves have got like the worst farms in the game, I think. We've got the best mines, but the worst farms, so growing stuff on our own merit.
Move out.
Going to be slightly awkward. Right, Kirit Cathol.
We march no further today.
Can we... Right, 4 more turns until we can construct another one of those, so... We could go for this, and that would give us some labourers, it would give us some income, and we could go with some upgraded armour, which I like the idea of, to be honest, so we'll do that. A huge city. I suppose it does help that we start off with 2 settlements that are really, really nice. A couple more turns for... I mean, it's tempting to move forward, to be honest with you. But we really are playing with fire if we do that, because they've got the Yulstone, Mount Gundabad, this place, so we can get away with taking 2 more of their settlements, but doing so may actually weaken them to the extent that they die, they perish. Well, how long until we can recruit more units? You don't have the worst farms, you only have level 2 of the farms, while elves and men have like 4 or 5. Oh, do orcs have worse, do they? I mean, we have like... growth is not our strong suit through farms. Ideally, what I want is to retrain that, which... Oof, 9 turns. It is risky. It's a risky proposition, this. Right, where are we going? Is Fenestruinin really the closest settlement? Surely not. There is a settlement down here, is there not? The weather top reached. Yes, this is the Northern Dunedain. Hello, Arafor. How about some trade? And I'll give you some map information just to make you like me.
It's good to see we could reach an agreement. Very well.
Good.
An honor and a pleasure. Farewell.
Right, so we'll start heading over now to Imladris so that we can...
Continue to moor the same.
Because eventually all of these people we should have... We won't get the benefits for this immediately, but they should trickle in. You must conquer. You must be lightning quick. I mean, the dwarves are not lightning quick at doing anything, your enemy's friend. Most certainly not. Maybe we leave those mattocks behind and we move forward with the rest of this little force. Do we... It's tempting. There's nothing coming this way, so we could actually get away, I think, with sending a unit down here. What do we actually have in here? We've got no cav. So maybe we move the cav down here. Now that we've got infantry that can hold the gatehouses, I'm actually less concerned. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll put the cav down here. And then we'll roll forwards, I think, with an army, testing Gundabad's defences. We could take Dane's Halls, to be honest, and that would be probably a lightning rod for all of Gundabad's aggression. Because then we can push forward with this army as well, or at least portions of it. But that will probably be the sort of thing that we worry about for next time, to be honest. Ah, yeah, we're building a pig farm there. Nazanar. Okay. So yeah, this will probably be, we'll probably pass this turn and then we'll probably leave it here. Because if we are going to move forward and attack Dane's Halls, things are going to get pretty spicy pretty quickly. Very dangerous at short distances. Emphasis on short. Because they're dwarves. Moria should... I mean, that's another thing. Like, KHAZAD, how will they do against Moria? Why is it that the Northern Dunedain never win? Because the auto-expansion is really generous for Angmar. Angmar's a difficult campaign, actually, because Angmar starts off in the auto-expansion with a huge swathe of land in the north. Whereas if you actually start as them, you've got like this corner, basically. Also, as the Northern Dunedain, their lands are quite flat and they're quite wide, so I assume Angmar vomiting stacks at them eventually overloads their defences in a couple of places. They don't always lose, though. In our first campaign, the Lorien campaign, they won, I believe, but that was mainly because of Ered Luin helping them. And that is the key. For the Northern Dunedain to win, Ered Luin need to reject the rings, basically, and stay on side. There's a few more bits and pieces, but yeah, what we'll do before we go any further, construction complete in Erebor actually itself, so what we'll do is we'll set it up into a situation where next turn we'll start moving our army, or next time we'll start moving our armies around. Yeah, may as well go for some labourers. We're making so much money at this point that I actually feel comfortable in actually building all of this stuff. We will go as well for, I think, the market. The artillery is tempting, but we don't need the artillery yet. That's going to be sort of around the barracks event when we need to start churning out catapults. So we'll go for this, because we don't want to start going into the red on any of our bits and pieces. That's still building away. Kirit Cathol still doing its thing. You can go in there. Okay. So we will save it here. And that will be the end of this part. So 22 turns in. We're not going to be doing Toggle Fog of War as often this time either, because I feel like narratively it's a little bit... Again, it's not exactly the done thing. If we had like one of the Palantir, that's one of the reasons I would give for actually doing that at the end of every part, but we don't. And we're unlikely to as Erebor as well. So we will just have to guess at what is happening more than anything else. But decent first part, like a little bit of a loss with our Dwarven Labourers, but other than that it's been decent against Gundabad so far. And next time hopefully we can get this force from Kirit Cathol out and we can start pushing eastward as well, so that we can start maybe bumping in to the boys in golden armour. And yeah, the plan is hopefully we will get to do the next part tomorrow. Nothing's getting in the way schedule wise, I don't think, so yeah, chances are, very high chance actually, I'll know in the next hour or so whether or not I've got anything on tomorrow, which I highly doubt, but yeah, in all likelihood, we're going to be doing another stream tomorrow for Erebor. So yeah, I like what I see so far. It's a little bit difficult to get like really nice efficiency with the dwarves early on because you have to get into melee. But yeah, good times, I think, good times. Yeah, I'll go through the videos that are going to be appearing over the weekend in tomorrow's stream again, I think, because I think that'll be a little bit more, a little bit closer to the time and a little bit better. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll join me for whatever is next.